Right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to another Why Superman Sucks breakdown. For those of you that are new, I am Mighty Midget, and my co-host here is Rader B, and
Hello, hello,
together
hello.
we we are Why Superman Sucks. We break down for you all things nerdy, all things what's what fiction? Fiction is the one that's quick book
Correct.
people know. Yes, fiction.
Yes.
All things fiction related. We do breakdowns of TV shows, movies. We do versus matches. You can find us here. You can find us. Uh, we're a lot of places. We're a lot of places. There are links. Make sure you find them. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. You know the gig. Do it all up. We have a whole list of topics. Today's going to be a long one for you. I hope you enjoy it. We have a special guest with us today. We have my boy Dingle, and he seems to think he knows a thing or two about Ninja Turtles, so we will be getting into that a little bit. Per the norm, helping us run things in the background, you know him, you tolerate him. We have our boy Lord Silver Sky.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody.
All right, here we go. We're gonna kick this off. We're gonna start out with the Ninja Turtles. I want to know what you think you know, Dingle, and then we'll go back and forth on what's what.
I know Raphael's the best.
Well, we're already wrong here, okay?
Okay, explain to me, how is that wrong? And don't even. I know where you're going to go with this. No. Last
We're
Ronin. No, we're not
no,
doing
no,
that.
not even Last Ronin, but that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. You can't count that out at all. At all, you can't count out the Last
I'm not.
Ronin
No,
because
but I know your argument on this.
the
Because
only
you're
one
going to say
left.
Mikey's the best because he's the Ronin. But
Oh,
no,
well,
he's the
no,
only one.
that's
He was the
not
last one to
that's not
survive.
even it. That's not even why he's the best, though. All right, the Last Ronin is not the reason that Mikey is the best. Out of all of the turtles, all right, if we're gonna boil down to just raw talent, we go straight to Michelangelo. We go straight to Michelangelo because
And
without hold on, without anyone even realizing it, he is the one that takes his training the most seriously out of all the brothers.
yet the party dude takes his training the most seriously.
Yeah, he does. Pick up a comic book.
I've got the. No, never mind. But,
Hmm.
I mean, if in my personal opinion, I am very biased on this because I do have him tattooed on my leg.
Hmm.
Raphael is the best. He's the strongest. He's the most efficient when it comes to kicking, putting foot to ass.
Hmm. So Raphael is very, very good amongst the turtles. But if we're doing a ranking system on the best of the turtles, and we're gonna do if we want to do it in a non-biased manner, which we can do it in non-biased manner, and we can do it in which what I believe to be accurate. All right. So in a non-biased manner, if we are going in just terms of technique, battle strategy, uh, strength and intensity. All right. Then you start the list out with Donatello. All right. And then it's followed up
I'll
with
give you that because
Leonardo.
Donatello is kind of like the Batman of the group.
Hmm. So then you go into Leonardo. The only reason Leonardo sits at number two and not number one is because how long it normally takes him to get his ass in gear and actually lead the team. All right.
See, everybody thinks that Leo would be number one, but he's not. Leo has good leadership skills, but when it comes to fighting skills, no.
No,
I mean, he's good, but he's not the best.
I put him in at number two. All right. Now, mind you, we're taking into account like battle strategy, battle IQ, technique, all that stuff. We're taking all that into account, all right? So this list has nothing to do with just pure ass kicking power. So number three, you throw Michelangelo there because unfortunately for Raphael, when it comes to battle strategy, he's got it, but he has to get past his anger. His anger is what holds him back on the list. and puts him at the bottom of it.
God
And
forbid somebody show emotion.
well, so, but here's the thing: you're in combat, you're fighting, all right. And he always, if April O'Neil is not there to be the damsel in distress, it's Raphael.
No, yeah, Raph gets tied up a lot. I'll give you that. But on a close second, there is Leo. In the comics, in the TV show, Leo was always caught.
Why are we
Always.
king shaming?
We are not. We are not.
When
We
did
are
we
not.
shame?
I just think that the way they wrote Raphael was poor. I'm not a huge fan of him. I understand the appeal to Raphael. However, you're a ninja in a world of ninjas, right? And you mean to tell me that you are late? What are they? Late teens? Yeah, late teens is what.
Yeah, I think they're show.
And you're in your late teens, been trained since birth in the art of ninjutsu, and you don't have your emotions under control. No, I get the trope. Angsty teenagers, right?
Now,
Right.
to be fair, I'm 40 and I don't have my anger under control.
Okay, but mentally you're like 12, so
Yeah.
you also were not trained by a fucking ninja master, okay?
That's another thing. With as much as I love the turtles, okay, we can't go any further without talking about Splinter, because how do you go from a rat get soaked in TGRI or TCRI, whichever one you want to talk about, get soaked in their ooze, and then grow in size, and you're a ninja master all of a sudden?
Well, they explain it in like the first fucking live action movie back in the 90s. They explain it. That
I mean, yeah, I mean he mimics his master moves from the cage, but you go from just mimicking a rat mimicking ninjutsu moves to being a ninjutsu master and training 4 youngin to be masters?
I mean, we take this out of the reality in which you've tried to bring it into, and we put it back into the fantasy land where it makes sense. That's how you do that.
That fair enough.
Because if you bring it into the world of reality, you also now have 4 turtles that took a bath in the ooze, and all of a sudden they can talk. They can learn intricate math and science, and they can build things, and they can drive cars and motorcycles, and then they were able to learn from a rat how to use martial arts. So if you take that and put it in the reality world, it's never going to make sense whatsoever. So get that thought process out here.
And I'm
We
gonna
don't
say
do
from
that
the
here.
'80s movie, I mean, like the soundtrack even had the speech as part of it. It was a track on the tape of
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
mimicking my master's movement from my cage. I learned the ancient art of ninjutsu.
My favorite quote from Splinter was in the second movie, and I can actually quote it very well. For if the content kind of were to fall into the hands of our enemy, the city would be in grave danger. And just the way he says it in the movie makes me laugh every time.
No. But back to our list, all right?
Okay. Sorry, we went off on an 80 tangent.
Yes, yeah, it happens. It's all good. So if we're doing just the turtles, I put Raph in 4th. Now, if we're adding in other allies, I put Casey Jones over Raphael.
Oh, hell no. Not even a little bit, motherfucker.
Nope, I put Casey Jones over Raphael.
I mean, Casey Jones is a street thug with a hockey.
But we see him save Raphael more times than Raphael saves him.
That goes back to the angry one gets in trouble.
This is what he's cursed with. All right, my personal list, all right, would have Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and then Raphael doesn't even make the list. I don't like Raphael. I don't like him. Not a fan.
Dick.
Not a fan. Not a fan. I don't like the whole. I'm so. It's. I'm so angry, but put me in this one particular specific situation, and all of a sudden, I have found my zen, and I can do whatever I want to do now. No, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
To
Not
be
a
fair,
fan.
it wasn't just anger. I mean, Raphael was emotional. He had all the emotion. I mean, he was the most angry, and he loved the hardest. He loved his brothers the most, in my opinion.
Oh, we see that in. I know you said you want to bring that up, but we see that in the Last Ronin. If Raph would have had a better grip on his emotions, things would have went differently. But instead, he watches his brothers get killed one by one, and then ends up going on a blind rage, taking on the entirety of the Foot Clan, and working his way to he demolishes this legion of ninjas, gets to Shredder, and is so blinded by rage that is what fucking gets him killed.
Yeah, but also to be fair, Shredder is a umpteenth level fucking master.
But here's the thing. At this point, because everyone, yours included, big complaint when it comes to Michelangelo in The Last Ronin is it's not what you think it is, right? He's not harnessing the skills and techniques of his brothers. He's learned them with them. What we see in The Last Ronin is the equivalent of people getting scared when Spider-Man stops cracking jokes in a fight, or when Batman laughs. Right?
Yeah.
We see Michelangelo lock in, is what we see. He realizes from watching his brothers and essentially his father all die because he couldn't lock in before. We see his true potential. We see why Michelangelo is the best of all the turtles. And that's why the Last Ronin is so important, at least in this topic here, between Raph and Mikey. It's unfortunate that it took what it took for Mikey to finally show just how serious he took his training, but we see it. We see the results, all right? It's not like the spirits of his brothers possess him in his time of need and help him win his fights. He is calm, cool, collected. Everything that a ninja is supposed to be. And at this stage, they are all masters. All right, like Splinter even says in a run at the end of a run before this, he has nothing left to teach his students. They are no longer students; they are now masters, and they are to go forth and protect this world.
Yeah, they covered that in the first movie as well. When they did the I guess, for lack of a better term, the seance around the fire, and they connected with Splinter through at Astro. He even said it there. Is I have nothing left to teach you.
No, and that's why I'm a huge Michelangelo fan. Just because
I get it. I was a big Mikey fan when I was a kid. But as I've gotten older, I gravitate more toward Raph.
I'm an adult now, and Raphael is the adult.
I never said Raphael was an adult.
I'm reading in between the lines. You let me read in between the lines. I'm doing it. I already did it. You can't stop me. I'm gonna do it again. Watch. But you know who we haven't talked about, and I'm gonna bring them up, and I know you hate this, and it's part of the reason why I'm gonna bring this up. There is a sister.
No.
Oh God!
Don't bring this.
No, we're not talking the live.
Yes, we are.
That was absolutely fucking atrocious.
She exists. She exists. She's not just something that they brought up for the TV series or for the movie.
I mean, I get that she exists, but from
technically, there's
all
two
the media
sisters
we've seen with her in it, it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, or did they do justice in the live actions on the sister? No, No, they did not. But in the comics, there's 2 girls. Actually, in the comics, there's more than just the 4 turtles. There's the 2 girls, and then there is, uh, what's his name?
I mean, I know the frenemy, but I don't know.
Yeah, Raza, I believe it is his name. He starts out as an enemy to the turtles, and then when they free him from
Oh,
the
you're talking about
Shredder,
Razar.
yeah, and then when they free in the comics, they free him from Shredder, and he joins the team.
Yeah, he was a snapping turtle, not a box.
Yeah, yep.
And you know, yeah, I mean he ended up being a good ally towards there. But if we're talking like the enemies of the turtles, what was his name? Leatherback,
Hmm.
Leatherneck, something like that. I can't remember the alligator, crocodile. He was
Yeah.
probably my favorite enemy. I liked him. I mean, of course you got Rocksteady and Bebop in as well, but and the Rat King, people like that. But with Leatherhead, that's it. Um, he was probably my favorite.
I don't know. I'll forever be a fan of Bebop and Rocksteady, and I hate that they never really got brought into the live actions, to my knowledge.
Oh, they were in the last live action.
We don't talk about those; those don't exist.
I actually liked them. Were they the best? No, because fuck Michael Bay. But at the same time, I liked them. I like the chemistry between the turtles. I like what Johnny Knoxville did with Leo. I like what Alan Richardson did with Raphael. I mean, I thought it was. I will say the Shredder was fucking over the top, and I get why they did that. You know, yeah, you have these 4 gigantic ass turtles that we're not used to seeing, and they need an enemy that all 4 of them need to team up to take down. But
Hmm.
I mean, Shredder was way overdone. He was a fucking can opener, a Ginsu can opener at the end.
Are we talking the second movie, the second of the original movies, where we get Super Shredder at the end, and he
But,
just
well, no, that I was talking about the newer movies with the Michael Bay one, where Shredder had
no.
these fucking like detachable magnetic fucking knives on his fucking arms and shit, and it was over the top. Could have been done better, but I still enjoyed them.
My brain has blocked out most of the newer uh live actions.
But if we're talking about the original uh, TMNT 2, where you had Super Shredder that was played by Kevin Nash, I, I mean that could have been done better, a lot better, because Super Shredder in the comic and in the cartoon was a fuck monster, and
Uh-huh.
basically they just turned Super Shredder in the movie to a hulking rage monster. It was fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, 100%. Not a fan of how they've done Shredder in any capacity, honestly. Because he wasn't just a brute of a being. He wasn't just this boundless rage monster. He was very, very, very collected, tactical. Think of him.
Yeah, he was a tactical genius.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, cult leader essentially. That's the best way to describe Shredder.
Yeah, but
Ends up. Oh, good.
no. Go ahead. You finish your thought. This is
Oh yeah, ends up going to New York City, a land where he knows absolutely no one, and from the ground up builds himself a massive following. And then, like, remember, most of the he brought over his school from Japan, right? But that wasn't thousands and thousands of ninja, so he had to go find all these other members and then teach them all uh martial arts himself.
yeah. I mean, Shredder is probably one of the best villains in my opinion of just about any media out there,
Mm,
because I mean just his brutality, his tactical knowledge, and the cartoon was we don't talk about that because Shredder was a fucking moron in the cartoon. But comics and in the TV shows or the movies rather, I mean Shredder is a genius. Just he was going up against 4 other tactical geniuses that team up and kick his ass all the time.
I would have to say, out of all media, is a huge, bold claim.
I know I lumped it all in there, but for lack of a better term at the moment, that's what I went
Because even within the Ninja Turtles universe, uh, there are way more ruthless bad guys. Because you gotta remember, in the Ninja Turtles universe, we have Street Sharks, we have Power Rangers, we have.
I mean, if you want to talk ruthless, I mean, there was few that was more ruthless than the Rat King. The Rat King was diabolical.
I mean, sure, we'll say for the Turtles specific universe, you are correct. But to say within that entire franchise's existence, no. No, because you have Venjax from the Power Rangers, who essentially won, all right? In that version of Power Rangers, he defeated the original team and went on to take over the world and enslaved humanity and had them doing horrible things. And that's just one part of the Power Rangers world. And then
what I'm about to say is going to sound kind of sacrilege to you. I never watched the Power Rangers.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why you made the comment that you made, actually.
I mean, the only Power Rangers one I saw was the Power Rangers movie with Ivan.
Well, even he, in his, the reason he had to be sealed away was Mighty Morphin Team 1, before we got the team that we met in the TV series. Ivan Ooze killed them and had to be locked away.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then if you want to go deeper into the Ninja Turtles world, Double Dragons exist in the Ninja Turtle world. And then you have the Shadow King there, who no villain in the Ninja Turtles holds a candle to what got the Shadow King sealed away in the first place. They couldn't defeat him. They could not beat him in combat, so they had to seal him away, but at the risk of what? An entire reality that got swallowed whole by the Shadow King.
I mean, if you want to go that far, I mean, Batman is Turtles universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the fucking Batman villains themselves.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a bold claim to state that Shredder is ruthless and brutal and has done some messed up things to the Turtles and to the people they care about in the comics. Yes, but to say that out of all of media, when there are some pretty big franchises that exist within the Turtles.
Yeah. But
So.
I mean, Krang was fucking ruthless. Krang did some fucking terrible stuff. But you're also you're talking about a being from a totally different reality came about to the Turtles and started doing shit. I mean, then you got like back Stockman. I mean, he wasn't really ruthless. He was intelligent, highly. But to circle back on something, we're talking about the original TMNT 2, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've talked to you about this, but I'm gonna say this for the fucking masses out there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that drives me absolutely fucking bonkers about that movie, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, I noticed. After the first movie, somebody went and bitched and said this is a movie for kids that can't be fighting with weapons. So therefore, in the second movie, not once do the Turtles touch their weapon. Not fucking once. The closest we get to them touching a weapon is in the very beginning with Keanu and Mikey grabbing the fucking sausage links and just chasing a Foot Clan or the bad guy out the door. That drives me absolutely fucking nuts. I'm sorry, but I'm still mad about that. Since 1991, I'm still pissed.
Sorry, the first movie
You know
is
what?
always going to be the best, just because I remember sitting in the theater as a kid, and that was the first time I heard like the word "damn" used in a movie.
Yeah, especially a movie for kids.
Yeah,
I loved how grungy the first movie. It was very dark. It was very pretty. I loved it.
Well, it matched the comic at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like it really
Except
was.
the comic was a little more violent.
Yeah.
Like I know one issue. I cannot remember the issue I read. I remember seeing Raphael stab a Foot Clan in the eyeball. And yeah, we're never gonna get that level of violence in the Turtles, unfortunately.
I mean, if they do the last Ronin, there's some rumors. I feel
Nope,
like it
it
get.
got scrapped.
Oh, that would have
Yeah,
been the best one too. I mean,
yeah,
like.
it got.
Mm,
And I'm sorry, we do not talk about the one that uh uh Seth Rogen. That was that was bad. I don't know if you saw it, Mitty, but that was bad. He
Which one?
tried to the newest one that the one that's kind of claymation ish kind of deal.
Mhm.
And what he essentially tried to do was make the turtles younger and modernize it. So they weren't saying shit like radical and hang ten and shit like they always do. Even in the new Michael Bay movie, they said that.
were they
No,
saying
he was
skibbity toilet?
Huh. Huh. Huh.
no
No.
they were saying stuff. I don't speak youngin. Um, I mean you just have to watch it. It was so bad. And
Yeah.
it pissed me off because Seth Rogen's a nerd. If anybody was going to get the turtles right, it would have been Seth Rogen. But no, he went all the way off in the left fucking field and just destroyed the turtle.
It was like when what's his name from Jay and Silent Bob, the guy that plays Silent Bob, he tried his hand
Kevin,
at
Kevin Smith.
yeah, yeah, his He-Man TV shows garbage.
oh god, I watched one episode and I said this is terrible, and I turned it off.
Who kills He-Man?
Fighting words.
Who kills He-Man?
I know very little about it, so I could
Yeah.
not tell you.
No one except for Kevin Smith. And I know we're off on a side thing here,
Don't
but
tell me he made Skeletor kill him.
yeah.
Good god.
Yeah, he did it at the end of that first season. We're all hyped up because everything was pretty cool, looking great, and then He-Man dies.
But there was reasons. There was reasons.
No, he comes back as this stupid rage monster.
But and he goes past that. I mean, you're sitting here saying, "Who kills He-Man? Who the fuck kills Optimus Prime?" They fucking did it in the '80s. And what they do? They bring him back later.
The only one that ever killed Optimus Prime was Megatron.
Exactly. The hero eventually. I mean, it's a trope in these shows and stuff, but it is something that works. You kill the hero. There's a brief period where everybody is either getting their ass kicked or rising up, and then the hero comes back. We saw it when they killed Superman. We saw it when they killed Optimus Prime. We saw it when they killed Captain America. So
Are you defending that TV show right now? In front of my Dino Nugget. You are defending that TV show right now.
Okay, the one thing I have to give the TV show is that it really connected back to the 80s cartoon roots of it. It brought that specific story because we've had all these other things that happened in, the He-Man Masters of the Universe thing, and it kind of pulled back more from the 80s, which brought people like me who grew up on it back into it.
We might have some technical difficulties here soon.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, they tried to do the same thing with the Turtles with the live action show in like 1998, and that was atrocious. That was absolutely
It was
terrible.
going so bad they had to do the crossover with Power Rangers. I mean, like please save me.
But that was
I'll never forget the suits
crossover though.
The suits in that one were so bad. I cannot get the vision of Raphael riding his motorcycle down the road saying whatever fucking stupid catchphrase they came up with him for on that goddamn show. And the mouth of the suit is wide open and you can see the actor's face through the mouth just riding the motorcycle.
Look,
it was so bad.
So we didn't have the best special effects back then.
They didn't use any special effects. I would have been fine with 1970s fucking The Shining special effects, but it was fucking terrible. It was executed poorly, terrible acting, and horrible screenwriting.
I mean, I'll agree. I did make myself go and watch it after I found out there was a crossover and Venus de Milo and all that shit. So I was like, I have to see this. And I was like, why did I see this?
But what upsets me about the representation of the sisters plural, there's two of them, is
Yeah, Janika
that
and
in the comics they're so essential for the growth of the team.
well,
Okay.
but that's the thing. Like Venus de Milo was just kind of this thing they threw in, whereas Janika, was a human ninja member of the Foot Clan turned into a turtle to save her life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like, it was almost like, hey, look, this is adopted sister kind of thing versus where did this thing come from?
But we always call them sisters of the turtles, but in the end, there didn't Leo and the older girl turtle, didn't they hook up in the end there?
What, Janika?
I do believe one of them had a brief romantic endeavor with Leonardo.
There. I rest my case. The turtles are the best. They pioneered the "Are you stuck in the washer steps?"
Jesus.
I mean, there was also Lita, but that was, you know, time traveling mutant turtle in the comics.
Yeah, yeah. There was a bunch of them. Right, there were a lot of turtles in the comics that never got representation that should have.
That just would have been too much.
Well, I mean, for live action, sure, but like the animated series that they've done, they could have done it. It was like with the Double Dragon series, all right? Double Dragon, the animated series that they did for it, they pulled everybody.
They
The
did.
entire like legion of dragons was brought in. Um,
Which you got to look at it, the fact that like, Janika wasn't even introduced till 2019, and
mhm,
with what they've done, even in the animated world, the turtle since then. I mean, what's the current one? Mutant Mayhem or whatever one it's called. It
something
is.
like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it
the one I
is.
was talking about. It did fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's really got the Nickelodeon kid vibe that they're going for. It almost seems.
Mhm.
I've seen like one or two episodes. I kicked it on just to see what it was like, and I was like, yep, not for me.
I had a thought and I just lost it.
So,
Oh, I know what I was gonna say, but with the turtles with the TV shows, movies, uh, the comics are great, but there's one character they have never gotten right in any of the live action movies or cartoons,
hmm,
and pisses me off. Karai, because Karai in the comics was a animal when it came to fighting.
mhm.
She could throw daggers like nobody's, but they've never done it right in the movie shows, and I would love to see a live action Karai done right.
Karai, which she's not in the first one.
No, she's not. She's not in any of the original movies.
Mhm.
She is in the new movie, and she is in the cartoon. Uh, but in the comics, she was, and I mean, she went toe to toe with Leo and whooped his ass.
Yep, I remember that.
I mean, not just like won the fight, whooped his ass.
Yeah, it was his first real like experience with loss in
Yeah,
combat. So it took
and
him a minute to bounce back from that.
I mean, yeah, that's one character that I wish they would actually write, not some whining brat that sucks up the fucking shredder all the time and can't fight to save her life.
Mhm.
I want a true blue fucking Karai that fucking murks.
All right, so we spent a good time on the Ninja Turtles. Let's some closing thoughts. Rader, you have any questions? I know you don't know a lot about the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, maybe watched like a movie forever ago. Couldn't tell you which one. It's more of I know of the Ninja Turtles.
I now have a
Um,
new goal in.
Listen, okay. I had other stuff that I had to prep for this podcast, and Ninja Turtles just wasn't on the list. I didn't know about the Ninja Turtles until like 2 days ago, but I already had too much on my to-do list for this one. So, um, we can definitely do some Ninja Turtles for like some movie nights or something.
I will
Um,
definitely be.
but no, yeah, I don't know a whole lot into the actual world of it. Um,
Well, if you
yeah,
ever do get into watching the movies and stuff, don't let that scare you of it because the turtles are supposed to be, like, really gritty and dark, kind of like the original Batman. And the movies, except for the first one, just don't do
sounds about right for movies.
All right. So with that, though, we are going to transition. Dingle, you are more than welcome to hang out. If you have stuff that you need to go do, you can go dip out and do that. Um, thank you for hopping in for the turtles, though.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I will be
yeah,
more than glad to do more in the.
yeah. We'll sit down and we'll workshop some stuff.
What's the next topic? Because if I don't know anything about it, yeah, I'll just be wasting space here.
So the next topic, we're going into Spider-Man Noir.
Yep, I hadn't watched it yet, and I don't want any spoilers.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my
Uh,
best not to have spoilers.
Thanks for having me. Hope the audience enjoyed it. Hope I didn't overstep and cuss too much, but that's just me.
You're good.
You're good.
And I get very passionate about the turtle. But all right, thanks, and I will catch you guys later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Spider-Man Noir.
Uh,
Before we have you dive into a bunch of stuff, mine is very short. I tried to watch it. I really did. I really tried to push myself, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It was just Nicolas Cage acting like Nicolas Cage, but in an overcoat.
but they explain it kind of, sort of, not well, but they explained it.
No, no, I couldn't do it. I got to like the second episode, and I was like, no, just no, just so much no, just so much no. But some background: Spider-Man Noir is an alternate universe Spider-Man. All right, it takes place in like the 40s, I think, is what it
I
is.
mean,
What
and that's
it's
kind of the feel.
is.
It's prohibition. It's during prohibition.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not Peter Parker. It is Ben Riley, and we'll get into the significance of Ben Riley, the name, later in the talks here. I'm going to give Lord a chance to talk about things that he watched and thoughts, and then we can go back and forth on that. But it's an older Spider-Man. Like he's an older gentleman.
Yeah.
He's not like the late teens, early 20s that you're used to seeing. Uh, but I'll let you take it over, Lord.
So it was a lot to get through. I am not going to lie. Um, because yes, the acting was done and the story is done very much like the old detective movies. And that was really the feel they were going for. In fact, I think we saw him more in the detective role than we ever saw him in the suit. Um, yeah, it, it's so hard to really put my thoughts on this one because on one hand, I can appreciate, the Dick Tracy, the uh, some of the older ones. I'm blanking on some of the actors' names, and that's what he was kind of emulating, and they even kind of went through that on the instincts and all this stuff with the spider. It was like they had him watching movies, and it was basically this is how I know how to act like a person because he's fighting against like the spider within, kind of thing. So, like I said, they explained it. It was not a good explanation, but they explained it. Um, Villain wise, they could have done so much more. We wound up with, yeah, I really can't tell they were trying for Electro or Shocker with the way they treat him. It really felt more like Electro, uh, Sandman, and I'm guessing the other one was supposed to be Rhino. And they were okay, but I mean the fact that I never get to see Sandman really do anything more than just have his skin kind of look like sand and be like really strong was kind of a letdown. You know, if you're gonna have Flint in there, give him his full range.
Hmm.
And what Cat Hardy as a character, we all know who she was supposed to be basically, even though they changed the name a little bit, but no power, no nothing. So it felt like they were trying to lead it up maybe to being something more, like maybe doing a second season and really diving into some of these other characters, but I don't know if it's had the I don't know if it got the audience for the same reason that you haven't been able to make your way through it. I don't
Right.
I think somebody who sits down and goes, I really want to see where this story goes, is going to see it through. But there were several times where I was like, I have to stop. And I'd step away because there's only so much of this I can take.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that would have made me mad. I'm glad I didn't get to that part because that's supposed to be Black Cat. Uh, and for those who don't know who she is one of, if not the only, successful female attempt with what was supposed to be a superior version of the super soldier serum. And she ends up being in the main continuity, a love for Spider-Man.
Well, and there was even a part in there where like they hint at the fact that Ben used to actually go by another name,
Hmm.
which is kind of like, okay, so is this Peter like in the comics where Peter went by Ben Riley at that, during the clone shit and all that, when Ben Riley took his place and all that weird shit. Um, there's that aspect, but also everything was stated like it was the Germans trying to recreate the super soldier serum, and that's why we got all these people. There was POW camp, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. Real quick to touch on it since you brought it up already. Ben Riley in the main continuity was a clone made of Peter made by
Jackal.
yeah, Jackal. So Ben Riley eventually, instead of running as a alternate for Spider-Man, he embraces his true self. He becomes what's known as the Scarlet Spider, and he ends up being, he goes back and forth. He's an anti-hero. More often than not, he's good. But in the early days when he was still angry and confused about his existence, he was definitely an enemy of Spider-Man for a while, up until the Symbiote Wars, and
Well,
that's when everything changed.
and if we're going to touch on that, and just to blow some people's minds, I love the whole arc there where it's like, no, Ben is actually the original.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was around the same time they reintroduced Peter's parents. Like,
Yep.
surprise, they were never dead.
Surprised they were never dead. They were Russian spies. Uh,
Yep.
the comics, like, we talk about the different punching bags in different universes. And yeah, it's one of those like, I think I have my life in order. I have my wife. Things are going well. By the way, here's your dead parents and your clone.
Yep. Yeah. Um, I don't know, man. I tried noir. I tried it in color, and then you just talked about how much better it was in black and white. So I switched it over to black and white, and I was like, this is still just not what I was hoping that it would be.
Well, I'll say my watching style was very much like when he was Ben Riley doing his stuff, I was in color. But when the suit was on, I switched to black and white, and you can tell that they had that in mind for the way that the scenes were shot, and because there's a couple scenes where because it is in color, you get that little bit of hint. So when it should be like straight black, it's not. You still see
Mhm,
the outline, but when it's black and white, everything goes black, and then it's like just the eyes from the mask. And I'm like,
mhm.
that's what you were going for. It was that look that just didn't translate to color.
I feel like maybe I would have been able to enjoy it better if it just auto did that, went back and forth.
That would actually be a cool little trick.
Yeah. Yeah, like don't give me the option. Like show it to me how we're supposed to see it. And maybe that would have given me a chance, but I'm not gonna quick switch back, pause, switch, play, pause, switch, play, pause, switch, play. I don't want to do
So what you're saying is we need a fan cut that does this automatically.
that. That would be great. Rader, real quick, do you have any questions about Spider-Man Noir?
I have Spider-Man stuff on my list to watch, but I don't know anything about Spider-Man Noir. So
Alright. So, I mean, like if you really want to get a quick rundown of all the different Spider-Men, you can do the original '90s cartoon, and they have a Web Warriors run that they do. It's like a four episode part of I don't remember the season, but it touches on all the different Spider-Men from all the different realities all coming together.
But I don't think they had Spider Noir in that one because I think Spider Noir was introduced afterwards.
No, they touch on him.
Okay.
He doesn't come in. He doesn't come and help, but they show a clip of him. But you meet Spider Ham in that one.
Oh yeah, Spider Ham is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, just even across the Spider Verse.
Yep.
Like,
Nope.
that's a good intro too.
Yep. That's where Nick Cage got his little introduction into Spider-Man. And everybody needs to stop with the goddamn posts on the interwebs about how this man played Superman and Spider-Man. The Superman that he auditioned for, they never made the movie.
But you have to remember, it was in the new Flash movie they did. They did have a scene with Nicolas Cage's Superman as one of those realities.
Yeah, it's like a 3-second fucking scene.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's just one of the things of like he did don the fucking suit.
wait a minute. Are you not one to sit here and say that if it's on the screen, then it's canon and it happened?
Can you not throw my fucking words against me? Is that a thing that we can avoid ever happening to me again?
No.
Nope.
I'm writing that down.
I hate the idea of him ever being a Superman. Because you know what it is? Like, you go and you look at that snippet that they do from the Flash movie, and then you go look at the little snippet that they'll show from his audition. You guys seen Con Air?
Yes.
Okay, so the scene where he finally steps off the airplane and is tasting real freedom for the first time, and the wind is blowing in his hair, and the sun is in his eyes, that's all it is. It's that scene, but he's wearing a Superman suit.
Put the kryptonite back in the box.
Also, I am not a huge Nick Cage fan, okay? I'm really not. I didn't like him in Ghost Rider. I didn't like him. Like Con Air was a good movie, sure.
Talk about haterade.
Right.
He did all right in Face Off.
Not like him in Ghost Rider. What are you talking about?
No! Don't open that door! Don't open that door!
Ooh, what do you mean? It was such a bad movie.
What?
Yeah, it was such a bad movie. It was. Let's do this. Let's hash this out right now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Pitch it to me why it was so good.
I mean, I can't. I'm not. Again, this is something I haven't watched in years. I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you the last time I watched this movie, but I don't remember it being anything bad. I think he did well in the role for like my knowledge base for that kind of stuff, right? Remember, this is pre-full nerdy Rader here, but when I think Ghost Rider, I think Nicolas Cage.
Ouch. Oh, that hurt.
Mm.
That hurt.
Okay. Nope, I'll give this to you because of your non-understanding at all of the comic books. For the casual viewer, sure. The casual viewer will probably like it. But if you have any understanding at all, even to a small degree, about Ghost Rider and how he works, you'll stop watching the movie when he starts having the maniacal laughter as he's turning into the Ghost Rider. Him trying to fight it. Him trying to hold the Ghost Rider back. How whenever he's around evil, the Ghost Rider just appears. That's not how that works.
I mean, he did fight him off a couple times, but in the comics.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Because more often than not, when Johnny found himself in a situation where Ghost Rider was going to come out, he needed him to be there fucking anyways.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he didn't have any kind of control over when the Ghost Rider came out. It was a symbiotic relationship. In the early days of Johnny acquiring the Spirit of Vengeance, there were brief moments where Ghost Rider would just come out, but it was for self-preservation.
All right,
Because-
I had to ask this to the chat because Killer said nope, it was good. So I want you to put that in the chat or jump in. Why do you think it was good? Because if Rader can't say, maybe Killer can.
It was self-preservation, because if the host dies, then the Spirit of Vengeance gets locked away until a new host can be found.
Yeah, but I mean, finding a new fucking host was never seen to be a fucking problem. That's why I was like, oh look, the Hulk has the Ghost Rider. It has Ghost Rider in it. Oh look, Punisher does. Oh look,
Dude, that Cosmic Ghost Rider was terrifying.
Oh god, no. Hulk Ghost Rider was one of those too. That's like, I just give up. I give up. I can go do this myself. You don't need to be around. I'll just go in the back room.
But the way they had his penance stare work, that's not how that works. There's really not a whole lot of limitations to how the penance stare works, and it doesn't make you feel all of the regret and pain and sorrow of everyone that you've ever killed. Well, it does. Regret is there, but it's not the collective, right? Essentially, what the penance stare does is it's a judge, jury, and executioner all in one, right? It takes and makes you face all of the bad that you've ever done, judges you on the scales as to whether or not your good has outweighed your bad. Usually, if you're getting the penance stare, you're guilty. You're guilty. And then it essentially imprisons your soul.
Yeah, I mean, that's why there's like different levels of it. But I mean, like the best way it is described, and I'm reading it verbatim here, is it forces the victim to experience all the physical and emotional pain they have ever inflicted on others. And then the punishment, basically it's forcing trauma. It's forcing you to have the trauma that you inflicted on everybody else. And that the punishment for that could be, temporarily incapacitated or paralyzed, but like the truly wicked can be driven permanently insane, left in a catatonic state, reduced to ashes, or had their very soul destroyed. All those things have happened in the comics.
One of them was to Galactus.
Yeah, that was brave. That was brave, honestly.
So what I think this really comes down to, right, is this is where you have the difference between the comics versus the movies. And 9 times out of 10, I feel like when it comes to a movie, they refer to the comics and they go, let's take this, and this, and we're going to put it here, but we're going to take full creative reign and change it to how we want it. And so that's where because yes, you have your niche of people who have seen the comics, but then you have, hey, we have a demographic of people who love action, who love, superheroes, fighting, whatever. Let's make this movie. And that's where they more gear it towards versus being comic accurate. I feel like you see this across many different things, not just Ghost Rider. I mean, from Superman to Spider-Man to everything. I feel like we can equate this to very often we see inconsistencies between comic and movie. And if you look at the movie as a single by itself entity, not tied to the comics, then it's a very well done movie. And I know that's hard for you to do. I understand.
I hear what you're saying, right? But I live in this amazing country where I don't have to agree with this.
So I understand it, because this is the mindset that I'm going to be kind of discussing when we get into the Harry Potter stuff, because I've got a lot that goes into that, and that's going to be one of those situations that we're going to be facing here.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I think and it's definitely right though. I mean, like, and that is the hard thing. There are movies that I have stepped into, and I've been like, I need to throw out everything I know in the comics. In fact, I did that on the last Crow movie, with Skarsgård. I was literally like, forget the original movie, forget the comics, forget the books, forget everything I fucking know. Walk in and watch it as just a movie. And if I had not gone in with that, I would have left pissed.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't have to like it, and I'm not gonna like it. But it's fine. What we got here? We have enjoyed the look of the whole movie and loved watching the action scenes. Didn't really care about his little side story with the chick, but action scenes were good. And like, come on, Sam Elliott.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I gotta agree with the Sam Elliott part because
And this is where the comic side of me comes out. Okay, it was such a niche. Like, they had to dig deep for that Ghost Rider. Okay,
oh yeah,
they had they had to dig so deep. Was it cool to have an older Ghost Rider train in a newer Ghost Rider? Sure, but that's not how it would have worked. He wouldn't have been able to hold on to any part of the Spirit of Vengeance after it was passed on to someone new. That's not how that works. Not until
yeah, but
after Robbie Reyes did his thing and broke the pact.
well, I was about to say, but you got to think it was the easiest way to go through explaining everything was to have the passing of the torch like that versus, hey, you don't know crap about anything. Uh, Good luck, figure it out. Which is what the comics
Yeah,
basically did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Back on to Spider-Man Noir to finish that up. I doubt there'll be a second season. I'd be surprised if there was. Um,
It's Prime,
I
so
don't
I
know.
mean that's the weird thing with Prime. I
My good.
I will say you never know with Prime because there are things that I've seen that I'm like, how is this getting another season?
What are they tying this into is my big question, because this has nothing to do with Marvel or the Sony Spider Verse. This is its own thing. It
Yeah,
doesn't tie into anything else. So what was the point?
capitalizing on the across the Spider Verse because he was a prevalent part in there, and that got people interested. And I think maybe we're going to see in the next Spider Verse movie, um, because that's coming out what next year, into this year.
Something. Yeah,
Um,
somewhere around there.
I don't know how big of a part he's going to be in it. They're going to be tackling a lot of it. I know for the way they left it. So, or maybe they're looking to be able to do a live action version of that somehow. I mean, they already kind of opened the doors on the Marvel side with the last Spider-Man movie, and with Doomsday, Secret Wars, we don't really know what we could see.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's stretched though. I feel like that's a big reach. Like, this is kind of out of left field, right?
Yeah, so we got something that nobody asked for, basically.
Mm-hmm. This is essentially what that is. We're gonna jump into a short topic before we hop into Harry Potter and start going into the bigger stuff. Uh, so it was brought to my attention recently that, and we don't have much on it yet, except we know they're making a script for it. Uh, but it looks like we're gonna get an Eragon TV series, and it's supposed to be done the right way. Because for those of you that saw the movies, that have read the books and then saw the movie, like myself, you were not happy. You were not happy at all. I know that because I was not happy at all with the Aragon movie. It didn't stick anywhere close to the books in any way, shape, or form, and we have found out through a lot of digging that they are working on the script for a TV series
Mhm.
that is supposed to stick as close to the books as possible.
Well, and that's the thing is Christopher Polini. I hope I'm saying that right. He's heavily involved. He's co-creator, writer, and executive producer. The other executive producer is Mark Webb, who did The Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's Disney Plus. And I will say I give Disney some credit when they are converting book like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, but a lot of times they got the right people in there, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one has all the markings that it should be good. It's kind of like when Netflix did their live action of One Piece, and they had Oda work like they were working hand in hand with the man who created One Piece. So if you see something changed in that live action, just know they got permission before they changed it.
And that's always the nice thing when you see that, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I know a lot of people like on some of the Stars ones and all that they do that too, where it's like you're involved, we want to change this, and sometimes it's yes, and sometimes it's you better fucking not.
So we will keep you posted on the Eragon stuff as we find stuff. Uh, keep an eye out on the YouTube more often because here soon they're going to start dropping stuff on some things, and every once in a while you might see a quick VOD pop up touching base on it. But now we're going to start getting into the bigger stuff. Uh, you know what, Rader? Where would you like to start?
Well, we can start off with Harry Potter just because I already mentioned it, and I just finished watching the bonus footage that was given to HBO subscribers.
Okay.
And honestly, watching this has kind of completely changed my mind on some things. So
Mhm.
I'm shocked to be saying that. So I'll kind of start off where I began, right? We've got the trailer. Um, see some different things here. Here we actually see Harry in a muggle school being bullied. All right. That's not something that we see within the movies. Um, you have an interesting train ride with Hagrid. That's kind of like it seems like it's taking place after Hagrid picks Harry up from his aunt and uncle's home. What's interesting is I not too sure on where that's happening. The dang dog just shut off my monitor. Um, I was a little salty. You see the sorting hat, and the sorting hat's not the same color, right? Just like with all the characters, they decided we're going to change everything. Okay. Um, which is going to bring me into Snape. Um,
Yes.
I need. Okay. So the way they did this trailer, right, is very true into most things. They left a lot of. They didn't show anything too major. They left enough open that you're like, how are they doing this? What are they doing? But also make you angry in the characters and the way they changed it. I think we can all agree Snape is a big screw up in this one. I have
Mhm.
nothing against this actor, okay? Seen him and some other things. Great actor, hands down. Um, I think changing his ethnicity is a mistake. Uh, it kind of alters the whole story, right? Because you have Harry who is so fed up and annoyed. Now, let's even take this a step further because I know one thing that's been talked on recently is okay, now you have a white kid that hates a black professor for unknown reasons, right? So that already looks sketchy as all. But let's go past that. Let's go into what's supposed to be the history between Snape and Harry's mother. So now you have this guy who's obsessed with a female, and we have a black male with a white woman. So they really just, in trying to be inclusive, really made some mistakes, unless they're completely going to watch this backstory. And there's potential for that. And the reason that I say that is I saw this trailer and I was angry. Right? I was so angry. I was like, this is just wrong. Everything's wrong. I don't like it. Then I watched, they have, it's about 30 minutes long. If you have HBO, I recommend watching it. It's exclusive to HBO subscribers. It's called Finding Harry: Craft Behind the Magic. And so here's where they kind of dive into their character selections, their actor selections for the characters, and different things that they're doing. The goal with this isn't to recreate the movies. The goal is the way they worded it is, when you're watching the movies, there's things happening that you don't see, but is occurring. And that's the little rabbit holes that they're going to be pursuing. So you're still going to have the main story, but some of the little side pieces that if you read the books, you kind of missed out on in the movies, it sounds like we're going to see those within this show. And so if you keep an open minding in that, they're trying to be more true to the story. I mean, the setting for this, right, is 1991. They are going as far as recreating the outfits, right? Going more natural. I find it interesting that with today's technology that we're not seeing more CGI. And they completely rebuilt and remade Diagon Alley,
Oh.
which was wild to me, right? Because we've got pretty much the cookie cutter of it already at Disney. And so the fact that they have completely reconstructed it, because it showed them actually building this from the ground, creating this set, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, and part of my mind is like, is this not a waste? Because you have one already, and we're in an age where CGI is an option, and it can be very well done. So I find that very interesting. Same with some of the creatures. I mean, something that we haven't seen in the movies, but if you've played the Harry Potter games, is the Doug Bog Toad looking thing. They made one. They're actually making these robotic models of these creatures to be more prominent within the show.
Well,
So it's going to be interesting. I will say one thing that I'm very happy. Uh, Warwick Davis is returning as his role for Professor Flitwick.
ooh, okay.
And I think he is the only one that I have seen so far that is maintaining their role. Um, so that in itself is huge.
Well, since you saw the footage, I mean, like, because I am, from the Jim Henson era when, that's what they were doing. It was like they were making the puppetry and all that kind of stuff, and that was part
Hmm.
of the show. Is that kind of where you're seeing it more leaning towards versus the CGI heavy?
They're going blending it, right? So in what I saw, I didn't see any CGI mechanics. Everything was them actually making it. I watched them building the owls for this. And I will say I was a little bummed because I know in the original movies they used trained live owls. I think there was a handful of owls that they had. These all appear to be robotic. They studied the movement of owls. You see them constructing the mechanics, and there's a lot that goes into it. And then going as far as putting each individual feather into this model. I think she said they created 10 owls, and they have over 3,500 feathers in each one. Um, that are all hand placed. So you're seeing a lot more of the technological aspect instead of going for the CGI route. Like you see one point where they have it on a screen of like the movement, of what they're trying to create, but they have a physical model of it as well. So I'm actually kind of surprised, and I think we're seeing less CGI in this than what I anticipated. They're putting a lot more detail into the set and the creatures and the mechanics. I was impressed. I mean, the scene that you see within the potions room, um, very detailed, very fitting. Honestly, from what I saw of some of the lineups of the sets, I don't even think they're using the same location. I think they built a lot of these sets from scratch because I know the original movies were based out of an actual school. I think it's a like a Catholic school or something like that, in the UK. Because I know you can actually stay there. I've seen where you can buy tickets or whatever to actually stay the night there. Um, but from what it looks like is they're redoing it and creating it themselves. They have an actual train. I mean, the train's not even CGI'd. Which on one hand is, incredible to think of. On the other hand, it makes me wonder, like, why are we starting from scratch? But I think it really comes down to they want to honor the details in the book and stay true to that. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see, are they going to completely stay true to it, or are we going to see stuff that's not even in neither book nor movie?
Doesn't that fall into kind of what you're saying with the Snape aspect too?
Right.
That they have to rewrite that history, which tells you why he's got the kind of protection bond thing with Harry.
Mhm.
If they're rewriting that past, then how do you explain that?
No, yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. And if we even get that far, right? Because for all we know, season 1 comes out and it's a complete flop, we might not get more of it. But I know they did some of the interviews with some of the actors, so like John Lithgow,
Yep.
um um uh Mity, I'm gonna have to take a rain check. We are under a tornado warning. We need to go to the basement.
Okay. All right.
Go, go, go.
Let
Oh.
me know you're all right. All right. We will continue, and we'll just jump into X-Men,
Yeah.
and we'll do some Doomsday,
Stuff. Yeah.
and yeah. So we'll still be here.
And
Fin 97.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Kick it off.
I was about to say, I know you sent me the trailer.
Did you watch the trailer? Because oh my god, the trailer.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
Like
god. So
I was.
normally I'd be against I'd be against bringing Apocalypse in, right? Because usually Apocalypse is a let's reset everything kind of villain, right?
Really is.
He's not someone that you bring in, he gets defeated, and you move on with your life. He is 110% a we are starting over, and there's no need for that right now, right? So I'm interested to see what they do with him. I love that it kind of feels like they're doing he's trying to take over the timeline trope again. But when we're first introduced to Apocalypse in the original animated series, that's what's going on. It's where you meet Marvel's version of a fifth dimensional being. You meet Molecule Man in the comics. Um, but I doubt we'll see that. I love that we're seeing Polaris. For
Yes.
those of you that don't know, Polaris is Magneto's actual daughter. Okay, it is not the Scarlet Witch. That is not his kid. Neither is
Yeah, true.
Quicksilver.
Yep.
But Polaris is just Magneto, but on fucking steroids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
She's and that also means like we're getting her. Havoc, I do believe has been in.
he is on the cast list. We are getting X Factor.
Yeah, so that'll be nice because I mean I really loved X Factor when the comic came out. It was a nice take, different team, um, and I would love to see Wolfsbane and Multiple Man and all that really get more time.
We're getting the crew. Like Deadpool is in this, so we are getting
Oh
that
yes.
X Factor team.
Okay, then yes, yes. Now my question
Um,
is Ryan Reynolds voicing Deadpool in this. Uh,
I hope not. I hope not. Because the voice actor they use for the animated series that they've been using forever, he's great. He's amazing. Keep it.
yeah, I mean because didn't he do the video game too?
The original VA yet.
Yeah, yeah, and That to me proved right there. It's like, yep, that is the voice of Deadpool.
Oh, yes, 100% it is.
And
Take over
yeah.
for a minute, right?
Hold on. So, and then like some of the other characters we saw, just the timeline hopping thing, because there was the whole thing that Forge said in there, like we have to go back to when this was happening. So it's like they are going back into their own timeline. It's almost like they're revisiting potentially uh, their the last time they dealt with Apocalypse, is what I was kind of catching.
Yeah, definitely. Although I'm nervous because anytime Forge has his hand in anything, nothing ever goes right the first time. But it'll be interesting because we're supposed to see not only a younger Nathan Summers, uh, but we're supposed to also see the sister, Rachel, one of the sisters, right?
I'll say it's going to be Rachel or Hope.
There's no way we see Hope now, but that's only because of Hope's origin story. Hope is retrieved by future Cable, brought back into the past to be protected, or brought back into the future to be protected, trained up, and is brought back to the past to try to fix things.
But either way,
So Hope,
we get to see Cable again.
a younger one.
I
don't think we'll see him full grown.
No, I don't know. I feel like if they're doing the time bouncing thing, since they showed the future stuff, he would have to be there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. No, not really.
Unless they're doing unless they're going to touch more on the Ascani-san kind of shit.
That's what it was looking like. It's what it looks like. But that's the real big elephant in the room. Danger is in this season. That's a bold move. If you don't know who Danger is, she is the Danger Room. They find out is sentient, and after years and years and years and years of abuse, the Danger Room builds herself a body and becomes one of the most insane X-Men villains ever until she turns it around and becomes an ally. But she knows all of the X-Men's weaknesses and how to beat them.
Yeah, she has all their fighting styles in combat history. She knows their weaknesses.
She is why AI should be outlawed. All right, just saying. We had a show of Danger. I believe in the trailer we see a little bit of Havoc. I don't know if you were huge into the original. You need what? What do you need?
Havoc.
Like
which one?
You love that idea? Oh, sentient. We're in the basement, probably going to lose power here. So if you need anything, you let me know. You shoot me a message immediately.
Yes.
If Zeus and I if we gotta come up, we'll come up. So, where was I?
She was saying what she needs. She said she loves the idea.
Oh, the idea of the sentient Danger Room. Yeah, I mean, she really does. She really does almost put an end to the X-Men. So,
yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like it was everything about her because she's Shi'ar technology that he incorporated, and it was like, think about becoming sentient. You're used for this combat training, and the fucking mansion gets destroyed. It seems like every 3 months. So you're getting blown the fuck up, put back together, blown the fuck up, put back together, and you kind of get pissed off at it. And then powers wise, I mean, she can interface with anything.
Anything.
If it is mechanical, if it is electronic, just boom, it's mine now. So.
And if they do the right version of it, she melds with Cerebro.
And she can transfer the consciousness, so even if they back her in a corner, boom, I'm gone. Shapeshift regeneration. Hard light constructs, because that's what she was using in the danger room, as well as like the robots and stuff. So it's like, hi, you literally gave me everything I need to basically fuck you.
Yeah. She gets tired of being taken for granted by the X-Men, and she turns on them. Hello?
Rader. She popped back in. I don't know if the power just dropped real quick and then came back on and she reconnected.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're split. They're split, like past, present, and future. So it'll be interesting to see, because we saw the Savage Land, which is a wild choice. To have that be the past encounter, because now you have a land where mutant abilities just don't work.
Well, and that's if they do it that way. I mean, because technically Savage Land could be present as well, because the way that whole situation works.
You would still have a land where mutant abilities don't fucking work.
Oh yeah. Now, look, I'm gonna say it. If I get to see Rogue in the iconic look for that Savage Land, I'm happy. Okay, we'll close. I'm going through the list right now of who we know. Because, yeah, we saw Lady Deathstrike and Sunspot.
Here's my thing, and I need to prepare everybody for it, because if you watch the first season of X-Men 97, then you're traumatized with the rest of us at the loss of our poor boy Gambit. However, I need to stress to all of you that it is the comics, okay? And death is never permanent in the comics. All right? So there's a chance.
I'm sorry. Penance and Warlock? Yes, please. And I guess I also want to see what suit they want to put Havoc in. Hopefully it's the legit X-Factor one and not the black one.
You know, it's more than likely going to be his blue and yellows.
Yeah, I mean, because the leather jacket look was just still, in my opinion, one of the best for him.
So X-Men 97, July 1st. Depending on how they drop it, we might do episode by episode. We might do a full season on it. We're gonna go in.
Drop it the same as they did last time, where it's gonna be weekly. I don't feel they're gonna give us the satisfaction of just dropping them all at once. I think it's gonna maybe be a couple episodes, and then a couple weeks later, a month later, the rest, at best.
Wow. Hello, Hulk. So here's the thing. We're gonna go into some Doomsday here, but we have a bunch of other stuff we were gonna get into. So keep an eye out either tomorrow or later during this coming week. We will give you guys another live, and we will cover the Mandalorian and Grogu and the Maul series.
We'll see. She just said that it looks like to be clearing, so she should be back in a few minutes. So we can.
Oh well, maybe we can continue. All right.
Because Doomsday really touches on to what we were just talking about with Spider Noir and wondering what they're doing.
So yeah, and they're still keeping us on the fucking edge of our seats with Doomsday. I still really am confused as to, oh hey Ari, how you doing? How we're gonna get all this popping off, because anytime that Doom has been involved in this, we've had the Beyonder or Molecule Man or both of them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a need. It's kind of a need for Doom to achieve the goal that he wants to achieve. He needs the Beyonder's powers. That's how he's done it every time. And the only introduction we've had to both of these characters is in what was it, Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur on Disney Plus.
Yeah, which I don't know how many people watched it. I will admit to say that I haven't yet, and I need to so I can catch that part.
He's not even introduced until like the end of the first season, beginning of the second season.
Yeah, so because the thing is, like, because we know Doomsday is literally leading up to Secret Wars, and they are still going heavy into the multiverse aspects because that's. I don't know if Marvel will ever break away from that aspect again, unless they do the Franklin Richards Ultimate and then everything rejoining thing.
No, because it leaves them open to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good because it's an easy explanation for the casual viewer. This is a different universe version of this character. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, like I said, it's there. It's so hard to say because the fact that they are still keeping that trailer freaking buried and not letting it out is, I don't know if it's marketing freaking genius or if they just don't care how many of us get pissed off.
Listen, anything the Russo brothers touch is gold.
Yeah, I'll give it that. They will be
This trailer is going to be worth waiting for. These movies that they're working on are going to be absolutely amazing. With Disney restructuring in their leadership, I'm very anxious and interested to see what is going to happen.
Well, I think we'll get our first clue, hopefully, in the new Spider-Man. I feel like they're going to at least give us a quick glimpse, something to pique our interest outside of potentially the trailer being shown before it, which if they don't do that, that's a massive mistake on their part. Whether it's an in scene or I don't know, or if we see some glimpse of something in the background or it's very briefly talked about.
Bring back Edward Norton. Hollywood will never give that man another movie again after how he treated them. I mean, we can quick dive into all those Hulk movies and how out of all of them, Edward Norton was the better Hulk, but the worst Bruce.
Ooh, okay, interesting take.
Definitely the worst Bruce, but he had the better Hulk. If you could take Edward Norton's Hulk, all right, and match it with Mark Ruffalo's Bruce, perfect. That's it. That's what you want. That's the combo. That's the combo.
Wait, is that fucking confirmed?
What?
That are we getting Gambit in Doomsday?
Yes. Yeah, that's confirmed.
He is going to be reprising. Channing Tatum will be reprising the role, which means I get to hear his very, 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 very thick Cajun accent.
So if you watch the trailers that they dropped for it, the little teasers that they did, you see Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting, which is comic accurate. Like those two fight all the time.
Okay.
What are you saying? No to, Mr. Hulk? I'm not going to make you do nothing. Nothing. It's not that bad of a take. Edward Norton was arguably the worst of the Bruce Banners. He did not do a good Bruce Banner.
Hulk's
he was a He was a great Hulk, all right, but he was not a good Bruce Banner. And there's no you convincing me that we barely saw any of the Bruce genius when the in between moments when he wasn't the Hulk to when he was Bruce.
Have returned.
Welcome back.
So, because at the time that he was the Hulk, he wasn't Bruce. They did the proper introduction.
No. And look, all I said, it's not even that hot of a take. Mark Ruffalo's Bruce is the best Bruce Banner out of all of them.
I don't know. Mr. I have no true acting ability.
What?
He has no real act. He doesn't. He's monotone as fuck. It's a raspy voice, monotone as fuck. 13 going on 30. Sounds the same in every one of his fucking movies. Like, I didn't know whether to put razzles at the screen or not. Like,
He did fine as Bruce because there wasn't much to Bruce anyways in the first place outside of his genius and him trying to control his emotions so that he didn't become the Hulk. That was it.
Exactly.
There was not much range to Bruce.
yes, but what I'm saying is that when they introduced Edward Norton as the Incredible Hulk, right? When they did that, they were trying to show everything that happened after he already turned. Eric Bana story showed the precursor of how everything happened. They showed the super genius part, right? They never gave Edward Norton the chance to show the genius part because they already put him in the manic, I need to control this aspect of I just got hit with this 5 years ago. Then I'm gonna try to control this. And then I'm on the run from the United States government. I'm still trying to control this. They showed his wanderer phase. They didn't show his super genius phase because they figured that, oh, if we do the wanderer phase right now, everybody's just going to be like, oh, Eric Bana was the genius phase when he was the scientist. And then they bring in Mark Ruffalo after the foundation work has already been set. And then he became the cartoony Hulk in Bruce Banner, where it wasn't really real acting. He was just leaning on everybody's cues to him to say something. Like he wasn't really acting. Edward Norton acted. Shit, I would even say that even Eric Bana's Bruce Banner is better than Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner.
That's a stretch.
No, it's not because at least they had Lou Ferrigno.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, it's always gonna come back to Lou.
All right. All
It's
right,
Lou.
buddy.
It's Lou.
What's up, Jelly?
All right. Well, we need to hop back. We have Rader back now. Everything good now?
Yes. We had weather conditions perfect. For one, I think we even had some slight cloud rotation, but it ended up dissipating, so we are good.
Good.
Hulk, I will get with you and we will pull you in for a podcast at a later date where we go toe to toe on our thoughts about the Hulk.
Okay, well, Star Wars and Harry Potter are the same storyline,
Oh,
same
no.
plot line.
Hulk.
Just one has shittier lightsabers.
Oh my God! Get out of here!
Where's
My
the,
Get out of here!
Where's the,
Get out of here!
where's the button?
You're telling me it's not? You're telling me it's not?
Oh no! Here we
Did
go.
J.K. Rowling use aspects of Star Wars? Yes. She's even admitted to that.
Yeah, bright
So-
lights, shiny things that go pew pew. But at least their bad guys can hit things.
Just letting you know, my finger's on disconnect. Just tell me when.
Oh, you do not kick me out of the server, sir.
Oh, okay.
What? Honesty, I'm sorry.
All right.
Look, I'm sorry. Okay, I saw the hot topic. I had to come and jump in and say, no.
No, you had to instigate. You had to instigate. That's what it is.
You're,
I'm not instigating. What? I'm not allowed to have an opinion.
Oh,
You
no,
you
absolutely allowed.
you put clickbait status as the title for a reason. Harry Potter versus Star Wars. There's no verses.
I
Well,
didn't
it's
say
not
No,
versus,
versus.
it's
it's
different
not.
topics that we're discussing. So we talked about the new Harry Potter TV show that's coming up, and then we're also
Trash.
breaking down see, this is where you need to go back and hear what I had to say about it, because initially, yes, I had the same thoughts, but if you listen to what their goal is for the show, I'm a lot more open-minded to it.
Okay, and can I give my opinion on that aspect?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my opinion on this aspect is this, right? If the writer wrote it one way, keep it that way. Do
But
not
that's
change
what
it.
they're doing.
N-
So
How they're
they
trying to
so that's
they were trying. How do they describe Snape in the book?
okay, yes. When it comes to the well, I don't even know that they actually give physical descriptions for Snape.
They do. He's a slender, what is it? Slender, pale skinned man with oily black hair. They give a description to Snape in the
Okay,
book.
they do. A thin man with sallow skin, a large hook nose, uneven yellowish teeth, greasy shoulder length black hair that frames his face like curtains, cold, empty black eyes. Okay, so yes, in that aspect, when it comes to character descriptions, 100%. What the show is aiming to do, though, and that where the movie lacked, is they're diving more into the rabbit holes and things that we don't see in the movies but are in the books. So some of the like
Of course,
the
and I
storylines.
understand that. I understand that completely, and I'm okay with that. But I'm just thinking HBO is trying to stay on that woke train where they're
Oh yeah,
trying to change
absolutely.
anything wrong. Same thing like when they made Starfire a hooker in the DC Titans.
We don't
Yeah,
talk about that.
it's going to be a crash and burn if they don't decide to rewrite the backstory, which again is going to stray from the books, from which is what they aren't wanting to do. But if they want to maintain this person as the character, they're going to have to alter it. Otherwise, it is going to look bad.
I mean, I personally think that I understand they're trying to bring in a different generation into the Harry Potter thing. But the problem is, it's the same thing like us in the comics, and then the generation that knows the movies for Marvel, right? We have
Yeah.
the purists and we have the make everything inclusive thing, where
Hmm.
everything has to be able to be, it's malleable, it's just a character, it's not that big of a deal. No, because the people that made J.K. Rowling a fucking bajillionaire have a voice. And we were the reason why she became a bajillionaire. Like that's the thing, is you're trying to reach into a demographic who actually they have taken the time to read these stories of their childhood to their children.
Hmm.
And then now they're trying to just be inclusive of everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm all cool for it. You know what I mean? Hey, if you want to do what you want to do, but don't mess with the lore. Don't mess with the
Yeah.
scriptures. Don't mess with the things that have made our childhood great. Like Percy Jackson. They redid the whole Percy Jackson series on Disney, right? But they went more in depth with it on how it was in the book than how it was in the movie. But they kept everything the same, except they had to throw in inclusiveness because it's Disney. You
Yeah.
know, that's what they do. Same thing like with the new Star Wars. Why do you think the new Star Wars movies started taking a fucking flop? They weren't as pop. They were popular, but it was a quick pop from the original Star Wars fan, and then when they saw the nonsense start coming out, except for like, and then when what's her name, Gina got taken off of fucking The Mandalorian, you saw the outrage.
Hmm.
It's when they start trying to change the narrative of what we are accustomed to, and no matter what they say, we are the majority of people that have the disposable incomes. We're the ones that are buying things for the future. We're the ones that are keeping inflation down. They need to play to us just like how they play to our parents, how they played to everything else. That's what made them successful. But they're trying so fast to push ideals onto people and trying to change things around and trying to do all these different things that they're taking away from the lore. They're taking away from the nostalgia. Nostalgia is what keeps people buying.
But
That's true.
they are creating
That's why
nostalgia for
that's why
for the next generation. Like what
yeah,
they're
but
seeing now, that's going to be theirs in
then
20 years.
yeah, but here's the thing though, the nostalgia for the newer generation, find your own nostalgia.
That requires Hollywood to start actually, producing new.
Now
And
you're picking up
yeah,
now you're picking up what I'm putting down.
yeah. Then that's something we've
Dude,
seen the repeat throughout the
I'm
throughout the generations. So
I was born in 1990. My generation was the last generation that had pop culture. And now everything from the 90s is coming back. Janko jeans, baggy fucking jeans for girls, you know, fucking all these things are coming back from the 90s. I mean,
but
shit, a
that
champion t-shirt is now $85 when it used to be on the back row of the Kmart thing for $2.
I mean, that's just fashion, though. And I'm going to state that from working in fashion for a little bit, that, it's like a 30-year cycle. Things come back around. It's why we saw the fedoras come back and be popular for a while.
Exactly.
Bring them back again.
I know. But see, it always goes in cycles. And unfortunately, I mean, this is why, like, there are some things that are cool that Hollywood should not and probably will not touch again, like Back to the Future. Um, but
Now there's talks about them doing a new one.
okay, because they said they were never going to. They never. That was part of the rights
Okay.
negotiations. On the whole thing was no.
Yeah, when has Hollywood ever followed through on their
Oh, well,
contracts?
unfortunately, it also depends on whether or not that times out
How many
and they
times
can
are
be
they,
bought up again
how many
by
times are they
somebody
gonna
else.
how many times are they gonna remake the Mummy?
I mean, to be fair, I know
You
the new one's coming.
you leave Brendan Fraser alone.
That's the only one that
No,
mattered.
I'm not talking about exactly, but what I'm saying is they made the Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser. Then The Rock took over and it became the Scorpion King, and all
That was
his
just an
stupid ass
expansion,
movies.
though. That was just an expansion
Yeah,
of that
yeah,
one.
but have you ever watched the documentary on, or not the documentary, but the downfall of Brendan Fraser? I think there's like a documentary on it.
Yeah,
He blames The Rock.
I know it's a
He
big.
blames The Rock because he was trying to go too hard to keep up with The Rock, and that's when he blew out his back. And then that's when they said, well, if you want to do this, then you got to let us touch your pee pee. And he was like, no, I don't want to touch. Don't touch my pee pee. And then he got blacklisted.
Yeah,
You
that is
know.
a much longer conversation. I will say on that one.
Yeah, and we are gonna start pivoting now because the next few things we have to talk about are going to take a while.
I'm all here for it. I'm here at a 14-hour pool tournament, so I got time.
Well, the one thing I'll warn you, because I'm gonna get spoils in this because they watched it and I didn't, is they will be going over Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm not
well,
worried about it though. I'm not worried about it. I'm not one of those people like, oh no, spoilers.
Well, that's not just for you; that's for everybody watching.
yeah, that's for yeah, we will be breaking down. Well, if you have not watched Maul, Lord of Shadows, and if you have not watched Mandalorian Grogu,
I thought it was Shadow Lord.
Guys,
Get it right.
guys, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna put it out there. If they have a TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, any of the social medias, they've seen spoilers. They're gonna. It's already out. So
Yeah, but you
if
can scroll
somebody
past
wants to get
those
in their
easier.
field, yeah. Well, don't scroll past us. Hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Turn on notifications.
See, that's why I like him.
don't stop it. Stop it. The room's only so big.
I am the biggest motherfucker in the room, anyway. So it is what it is.
All right. So, Rader, I'm going to let you continue to lead the way on this. Did you have more stuff you wanted to touch on Harry Potter, or do you want to go into either Maul or Mandalorian?
No, we can. I think I pretty much hit on most of what I wanted to talk about. When it comes to Harry Potter, um, it's gonna be interesting. We have time. That's not hitting us. We won't start seeing episodes for that till Christmas of this year. So
They're even releasing it around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm dying on the inside.
There's a couple things coming out
Sorry.
around that time frame. It's gonna make it
yeah,
interesting.
which is what I find really interesting that we've already been hit with a teaser trailer and this whole little background that they gave us HBO people. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with it. I am, after watching the craft behind the magic, more open-minded to it than I was in just seeing the trailer, because again, just seeing the trailer, I was angry. I was pissed. But hearing more from some of the actors and the creators, it's going to be interesting, and it's either going to do everything that they want to, or I think after the first season we don't see a return. So it really just
Mhm.
depends.
So is it true what I'm hearing that every season's going to be a different book?
That I'm not sure, because the way that they talk about it is they're, you know, they specifically say when you're watching the movies, there's things going on that you know are happening, but you don't ever see it, and they're going to explore those rabbit holes. So I, I don't know how many episodes they plan to have in a season. Um, if we try and wager a guess at each episode being maybe an hour tops, I don't know what HBO's norm is for their episode lengths on stuff.
About
Um,
45 minutes.
yeah. I would say, I mean, maybe they can get it all into one season. If we go for like 10 episodes, I mean, I guess there's a chance. Um,
I mean, or they
but it
can do like how
really
they did in
depends.
the, or they can do like how they did in the 2000s, like when they did True Blood, they would do 10
Hmm.
episodes, mid-season finale, then they would go 10 episodes, season
Yeah.
finale. And that would be epic because that would cover all the chapters in
Oh,
one book.
yeah. See, that would be smart, is if they did it that way to go along chapters, so then you really are staying true to the books. I don't know how hands-on J.K. Rowling's actually being with this project, but it's going to be interesting for sure. A
Are,
lot of them are excited. They, I know they're in it for the long haul,
are
because
there going to be cameos?
so the only original character that we are going to have, from what I have seen, is going to be Warwick Davis. Will be returning in his role of Professor Flitwick. I assume, because he also played some of
The goblins.
the goblins and Gringotts. I assume he'll pick up that as well. It doesn't specifically say. The only role listed for him is his role as Professor Flitwick. Um but that is the only one that we have that is returning. I will say I like to see that they did find another set of actual twins to play the Weasley twins. I They seem to look like they'll play the part really well. I'm Overall, I'm not overly angry with some of the casting. I have my hesitations like everybody else when it comes to Snape, but looking at some of the others, John Lithgow, or however you say his last name, I'm really, really bad with names.
Lithgow.
Being Albus Dumbledore, he's super excited. And I'll tell you, they're looking at an 8-year project from what he was talking about. Because let's
There was
see,
eight. There was 8 books. So
yep. So Um, he was talking about how excited he is to see our new Harry, Ron, Hermione grow together in the similar way that we did with the movies. Um,
okay,
so
that would be interesting as fuck. And I like as soon as I heard what they were trying to do with Snape, and that's the only reason why is I kind of stopped following after a while.
hmm that one thing really has me on the fence with how this project's going to go and how they write his story. Are they going to stay true to it? I try, and here's my other part of it too, right? You talk about being inclusive. Harry Potter's already pretty inclusive. I mean, it's not like that this was a school just full of a bunch of white kids. We see a very diverse group of kids throughout the entirety of these movies. So why they felt the need to alter some of the ones they did, I, I don't know. Um,
It, wa-
you
it was
know,
it came out the same time that they were talking about making Michael B. Jordan Superman. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it came out around that whole time where if you weren't woke, you weren't cool. And if you weren't, then that's when like Bud Light's fucking sales, Ford sales, they all plummeted.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's not like I said, I don't care who you are, you black, purple, blue, orange, yellow, green, 3 eyes, 2 eyes, don't care.
Well, and
The biggest thing is just don't force it on people.
so here's where it's going to be interesting to see how HBO does with this. And I'm not going to go full into this because this part is a very controversial topic.
Mhm.
But you have a very, very large community that does not stand with J.K. Rowling. Because for the longest time, J.K. Rowling said, hey, if you support Harry Potter, buy my items, watch my movies, read my books, then you are in agreement with my point of view on stuff. And she is very anti all of that and whatnot.
And
So
exactly.
it's going to be to see how HBO handles that kind of
Like
conflict, so to
yeah,
speak.
navigates that kind of road. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
it's not.
So
Go ahead.
before we pivot officially, because we do need to pivot, I just want to throw out a fun fact that not a lot of people know, and I always love throwing this out considering what the name of the podcast is. Michael B. Jordan would have worked as a Superman because there was, in fact, a black Superman. His name was Calvin Ellis. Came around in 2009. He was around for, I think it was like 2 full runs in the comics, and every once in a while they bring him back in for like a crisis collab. But he did exist.
Mhm.
It could have worked. I was on board for that when I heard about it because Michael B. Jordan is a really good actor, and it would have been really cool to see them bring
I'm,
in.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't have worked. I just think at that time, Michael B. Jordan didn't have the acting chops that he has now to pull off such a diverse character as a
Well,
Superman.
but that Superman would also have been another story too, because he wasn't just Superman; he was President of the United States from
Yeah,
43.
but you also got to remember too, Michael B. Jordan in 2009 was just barely starting to come out
Oh,
and things, and he and some of his movies were flops. Do we not remember fucking Fantastic Four?
that,
We don't talk about that one.
yeah,
We don't talk about that one. That's forbidden.
yeah. No,
Exactly.
but look at the other stuff he was in though. Like you want to say
Yeah, but he was
2009.
a supporting character in those things. So it's easier to be a supporting than it is to be the main character. If you're playing Superman, as we know from every comic book that has ever come out for Superman, he is a complex character. And yes, he would have taken on the role and he had the body for it, he had the look for it. But the problem is how are you going to navigate those waters? Now, after doing Sinners, he can squash. He didn't fucking kill shit. He can even kill John Stewart, you know. But what I'm saying is that at that time in 2009, the world wasn't ready. Not 2009, but when they proposed him to come out as Superman, he wasn't ready. He didn't do movies like Creed yet. He didn't do movies like I said, Sinners. He didn't have the acting chops, and I don't think the world was ready for that Superman to come out because it's a complex character.
That was what 2019, roughly.
All right,
It
we
was
are going to pivot now.
Yeah, yeah.
We are eating
Right.
into time. No, you're good. So let's jump into. You know what? I want to jump into. Let's do. How do you feel about Mandalorian and Grogu Rader? Because that was a really fun movie.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
All right, hit me with your
Um,
notes.
well, I think one of the big things we weren't anticipating was seeing Zeb, right? So
Yep.
we have that immediate tie now between Mandalorian and Grogu to Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
I did look it up, and so because you know me, I'm all about them timelines. Timelines are
Mm-hmm.
very, very important to me. So this movie is supposed to take place 9 years after the end of Rebels. So that kind of gives us, we have this gap in the quote unquote history between these two, the show in this movie. um so I gotta say I was impressed. They did really, really well with Zeb, taking him from his animated character to a more live action, I guess you could say, version of it. The details were there. They gave him his staff, which was, I know both me and Mity commented on that right as soon as we
Mm-hmm.
saw that staff come out. Very happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I feel like we got to talk about the elephant in the room with this one. We got a buff Hut that knows how to
Oh.
fucking fight.
Oh my god! And
I
so like
wasn't ready.
right, to put it into perspective for you guys, the way that Star Wars has always worked is if it makes it to a live action or if it makes it to an animated series, it is considered officially canon. So it is officially part of the actual Star Wars universe at that point. Concrete can't be removed, can't be changed, can't be fucked around with for the most part. We'll get into that later. But this means now that somewhere in a galaxy far, far away, there is a Hut with a 36 pack beating the shit out of stormtroopers right now. Okay?
Bro, it's wild to see. This dude looks like he was shooting roids and like it because of course when you look back up to the movies or any of the shows, every time we are brought into the room with a Hut, we are faced with this very heavy, grotesque, slug-like looking creature.
Okay, can you guys not see the dad joke that's involved there?
Well, and so
Because every
this
man is looking great before they get married and have kids, and then as soon as he has kids, fat slug.
so it's funny you bring up dad is it's Rhoda the Hut is our buff guy that we have here, and man, the daddy issues this kid has. Oh my god. So Rhoda is Jabba the Hutt's only child, is the way that I gathered that conversation, right? um and so that makes him heir to all things the Hut oversee, because it's a vast world, right? Um, and I don't think we officially heard why. So he was taken and then has this contract where he's fighting in these pits. And you have Mando and Grogu going to get him, rescue him. But for his aunt and uncle who have been overseeing the Hut Empire, essentially they want him dead. Mando doesn't know this at the time, but they want him dead because, again, he is the heir to everything that was Jabba the Hutt's. Um, and we get a Hutt fight scene. We see him fight his two aunt and uncles, and that was, I mean, you might as well have just thrown some jello or some mud in there. It was that type of rolling around, nitty gritty kind of like body slamming each other. And that's what it made me think of. So I think it'll be interesting, right? At the end of it, you don't see him go to try and pick up his inheritance, I guess you could say. He decides he's going to stay and help with the rebellion. So it'll be interesting to see if they grow off of him anymore or if they're just going to kind of leave it there. I would hope to see the rebellion try and help him take up the mantle of what he has as a Hut and use it in a better way than what the Huts were. Maybe. Um, well, let's see. We see a lot of growth for Grogu in this.
Yes, we do. That impressed me.
A lot more of Grogu using the Force and a lot of solo running. I could not stop laughing at him trying to put Mando in his little dirt hut that he built, and he just kept smacking Mando's head into the top of it. But you can see, like, in his use of the Force is exponentially growing, even for his size. So that was really impressive to see. I think we're going to see a lot more growth when it comes to him, obviously. To think that Disney's going to drop Grogu, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Grogu is probably going to be along the same lines of Anakin, where we followed Anakin through his childhood and whatnot up into adulthood and his full storyline. I assume they're going to do the same thing with Grogu. We're going to be with him for a long time.
I think my take on it, Grogu, like you said, it's I'm attaching myself to that. Piggybacking off of what you're saying, Grogu's going to be around. It's a generational character now. It's
Yes.
this generation's Yoda. It is what it is. But like you said, we're gonna follow his growth. You know, we got to see Darth Vader's growth with Anakin in my generation, and the generation before. We got to see the evolution of Luke, and then how it also ended in my generation from the older generation. We're we saw what happened to Yoda. Now we're following along with Grogu and his development of the skills. Basically, and it's going to be a hot take. Basically, what they did was just revamp the story a little bit. And what they did is they put Grogu as Luke Skywalker learning the Force. He has his guardian with him, which is Mando, and he's his Obi-Wan. And they just tweaked it a little bit just so that it catches new viewers.
I am going to I see the path that you're trying to go in that, but I'm going to disagree because Mando's not trying to help Grogu necessarily grow in the ways of the Force and his whole Jedi side, right? That was the whole reason that he was trying to give Grogu over to Luke and have him learn from Luke. He's you have a lot more of that father son role happening here than I think you do with Luke and us following him with his learnings from Obi-Wan and Yoda and everything.
Got it. So it's like a Kratos and boy.
Disappointed father sooner or later.
Sorry, I
I
saw an
mean,
opportunity. I had to take it.
we get an iconic father son moment at the very end of this movie. The very end, they're taking off in their ship, and what does he do? He tells Grogu to unbuckle, come sit in his lap, and drive the ship. I mean, it was a pure father son moment right there. And so I think they're really driving home that type of relationship between the two more so than a mentor relationship. Um, right now I don't see Mando really trying to teach Grogu things. Aside from, almost dog-like mentality. He's telling him to heal, to stay. Um, I got some giggles out of that. But it's more of the protective side. So he's not at a point yet. Grogu's still very much so toddler-esque, right? Um, I don't think we're going to see Mando move into a kind of more teaching mentorship type until Grogu's older. And that's if it gets to that point, right? Because Grogu's going to way outlive Mando. Um so yeah, I can see the comparison, but I feel like the path they're going to take is very very different because they could have kept Grogu with Luke, right? And then we could have followed their story and had that tie into the newer movies, right? Um, because if again, I'm a person of timelines, Grogu going to Luke would have happened prior to what happened between Luke and um Han Solo's son Kylo, right? So it would have been pre Luke setting up his school that he was trying to do for uh younglings. Um
I think I personally, my perspective on the matter is that Disney came in, they did what they did, they brought all these other characters in, they brought it in, and that was probably the direction they were probably going to go. And then Mark Hamill was probably like, "I'm done with this character. I don't want to do this anymore." And then they
mhm.
rewrote because everybody knows Mark Hamill. Like before he officially retires, he wants to play old Joker in the Batman Beyond movie. That's the only
Yeah.
role he wants to play left. That's his last role he wants to do. He wants to be the live action Joker.
Um
So that's
I wouldn't
that's
doubt it.
probably what
Yeah.
happened. That's
I
probably
wouldn't doubt it.
what happened.
Um
Because
Disney had to bring in these new characters though because and this is something we've talked about previously is there's no altering. I have to say the core six. We know it's really the core three, but really, the core 6 movies. Deviating from those or trying to change or branch off from those characters, you're not getting anywhere. Half of the characters are no longer around. Others are too old to be able to play in any of the roles, unless you're going and doing something like what they did with Harry Potter, where you have Fantastic Beasts, right? You go into the past. So, I mean, that could be a route. But it so far seems, unless it's individual backstories, that they're not really going back in time.
And I love what they're doing with the Mandalorian and Grogu universe, bringing
Yep.
in bringing in little tidbit characters, bringing in the secondary characters,
Yep.
bringing in the generational characters. It's amazing. I love it. I just, like I said, from my perspective, it just looks kind of like they just reworked the storyline a little bit, and
Yeah,
they
I
just
mean it's
put a new.
Disney.
Yeah, that's the thing is
And
like the moment George Lucas took his hands full, like 95% out of it, it 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 didn't really hold the same nostalgia for me. You know what I mean?
yeah. What about you, Minnie? Mando and Grogu. And oh no, I had one thing.
Mhm.
Um, I had one thing that I wrote down, and this is probably one of my favorite lines, I think, of this entire movie.
Mhm.
And it was after Mando had woken up, Grogu had been taking care of him, and he said, "The old protect the young, and then the young protect the old. This is the way." And I was like, "Oh, that!" I immediately had to jot that down. That was probably my favorite thing because, I mean, again, if we're looking at Grogu as a toddler, everything that he managed to do in that time that Mando was unconscious was kind of huge. I mean, this was him completely running solo, which we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. That was one of my favorite aspects was the deviating from Mando, because it was nice to see just how much growth has happened between when we last saw them and to where they are uh now. I want to stress that bringing Zeb in was amazing. Absolutely good tie-in. I love that they used the original voice actor for Zeb.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, the voice actor for Zeb also voice acts for a bunch of the Wolverine in the animated series. Like anytime you see Wolverine voiced in the animated shows, it's I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's the same guy. Uh, I like that we got more of a look into what a force using um, Grogu is going to look like. I liked the idea that we kind of got a Dagobah scenario
Yes.
towards the end there
Bit of
with
swamp
yep
scene.
yep. I was honestly waiting to see Grogu lift the ship out of the swamp. That would have really sealed it
Oh
for me.
God.
It would have been amazing. But we got that. Not with the ship, but with him using the force to save Rod of the Hutt.
Yes.
Um, so it was an interesting way to go about it, but that was essentially like we now know that Grogu has a basic sense of the Force. All right.
Yes. Yep.
Um, so that's what I liked about that. The Coliseum scene was perfect. It was perfect. I absolutely loved it. Um, Caging Grogu irked me a little bit, so I was
Oh my
really
gosh. Just
really happy to see those people get ate. That was very satisfying. I'm excited to see where this franchise decides to go. My worry, I think we need to see less of Mando's face
oh
because the
yeah.
Pedro Pascal fatigue is real. It's real. He's not a bad actor. It's just he's being thrown into everything all the time. Like,
I mean, even if you take that out of the scenario, I mean, the complete, and I understand that's what the goal was, right? The complete and utter disrespect that it is in removing a Mandalorian's helmet. I jotted that down myself. Uh,
Mm.
it's happened too many times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yep.
When we look at the basis of a Mandalorian, and donning the helmet is such a key thing, and not letting somebody see your face. Why have we seen his face so many times? You really start, and I understand that there's aspects that Mando doesn't follow when it comes to the Mandalorian creed, but it does come that he tries his best to maintain it, right? Obviously keeping Grogu is not part of that. Um, but it just, I gotta say, the least we can say is yes, the two who removed his helmet did ultimately die. Um, but it's still like, can we not keep something here?
Oh,
You're not supposed to
so
see his face.
It's kind of like when they took Rey Mysterio's mask multiple times in WCW.
like
And you don't do that.
the whole thing was there was such an importance of him wearing the helmet that they had a whole season where his mission was to make it to Mandalore to bathe
Mm-hmm.
in the waters so that he could become part of his community again because he was excommunicated. So
Yep.
like again, the saving grace here is anyone that was an enemy that saw his face, well, they're not alive anymore.
Yeah.
Um
Their
so
very creepy water snake ate them.
mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I gotta say, I loved our X-wing fights that we saw. That was great to see. I was a little worried that we weren't going to see very much aerial. Oh, and then the proper use of flying of that ship. Oh, that made me so happy, right? It brings into perspective some of the flying styles that you saw with like Boba Fett in his
Mhm.
ship. It's obviously it's not the same ship, but the designs are similar. And to see it not just flown straight, almost like the carrier ships that for the troopers, um, to see, hey, rip out that panel, give me more power, and flying it right, that made me so happy. I'm pretty sure I even put that in the chat the second it happened. I was like, yes.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
so that was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on everything I would want to talk about. I again, like bringing Zeb in is huge. It's huge for whatever they're going to do with the franchise moving forward, and kind of gives me hope that maybe we get some kind of live action Rebels.
Yeah, I was about to say, so I'm interested to see, and them pulling Zeb into Mandalorian because, and it's been a minute since I watched Rebels, right? But at the end of
Mhm.
Rebels, don't we have, doesn't Sabine end up leaving?
Mhm.
So I'm curious if we're going to see more of some of those characters.
Yeah, it would be interesting because I mean, it would make sense to integrate them moving forward. I mean, and that could even be how you really bring like the Jedi and the Sith into the Mandalorian universe if you wanted to, and could integrate them there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it
Well,
would,
because Sabine's ultimately a, I mean, she's a descendant of a Mandalorian.
mhm.
So it would be interesting to see them kind of branch that into here. Because I will say she was a character I did like. So
I
actually,
just
I think it's her helmet that I have somewhere here in the house.
I just don't know what happened to the dark saber because he still had it at the end of that
Mm.
last season. Like it was not lost to time.
Mhm.
And there were so many times where he got into situations. I was like, you have a tool that fixes this problem.
Yeah.
um, so why not use it? But yeah, if you've not watched Mandalorian and Grogu, and you stuck around to be spoiled, that's on you. But go watch it. Go watch it. It's
Oh,
absolutely amazing.
it was not a bad movie. I did have some moments where I was like, what is the point? Again, it's Disney trying to keep the Star Wars universe alive, right? And I'm seeing some of what they're trying to do, and it's a question of, was this intentional and are they growing off of it, right? Zeb, for the example. Zeb coming from the animated series Rebels into one of the movies. Are you building that, or was this just a cameo that we're getting? So it's a wait and see, like most things. Uh, but I guess that kind of brings us into Maul, and I'm angry.
Well, proceed.
You want to know the number one thing that I noticed off of this? His markings are wrong. Now, his markings were wrong in the animated series Clone Wars. Okay. And they maintained the look there from here to there. But if you go back to the movie, his markings don't look like that. And that bothered me. I didn't pick up on it in Clone
Wait.
Wars because you don't see a whole bunch of him. I mean, there's that small little handful of episodes, but I was more in the shock of, oh my god, it's Maul, that I wasn't paying attention here because it's so heavily focused on him. I was looking at his face, and there was a point that I paused it and I said, that's not right. And I had to pull up my other monitor, and I pulled it up and I had it side by side, and the markings are not the same.
Which is literally what I'm doing right now. I am
It's
pre-screening this to put it next to each other.
it's like mind-boggling to me, right? Because we just talked about how amazing Disney did in taking the animated version of Zeb and making him a quote unquote live action character, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you mess up a live action character going into animated? Like, how do you mess up details, which are his, and I don't know the official name for the markings, or I can't even remember off the top of my head the official name for their species, but the black lines on his face do not match. He actually, I want to say he has more prominent black markings than what he did in the original movie. And I'm a details person, and so that kind of set me on edge a bit.
He is a Death Mirian Zabrak.
As a Brock, that's what I was.
Words.
That's
Okay.
the name.
So I have them up. I am looking at Clone Wars, Shadow Lord, and live action. And I mean, yeah, I can see the difference in the lines above the eyes, but the biggest area I'm seeing, like,
Above and below the eyes.
yeah, like, but that looks more like just, it's like missing a an arch, if you will, above, and below just seems more smoother. But
Yeah, so it went from smooth to they added more of a jagged line.
the mouth, like, between the
Hmm.
live action, that's the biggest thing that catches me is the mouth, because, like, the whole, like, I hate to put it this way, like the mustache kind of black that's right above the
Hmm.
lips is gone and is red. It separates in the animated, and then, yeah, this, did they not feed this into, like, an AI to say, does this look right? You know?
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm a details person, and it's little things like that that I'm like, oh,
And I'm
why?
about to ask a spoiler question here. All right, I really am, since I have not watched. But I thought the whole thing was like, the Maul we saw in Clone Wars was like clone or something like that, because we saw the first one die, like get cut in half, and
No.
Mhm.
So have you watched the animated series Clone Wars?
no.
Okay,
Uh,
so that's why you're confused here.
yeah.
So I, for the longest time, was one of those people that was like, I am not watching any of this animated crap. I'm sticking to the movies. I refused to watch the Clone Wars animated series. I refused to watch Rebels. I didn't want to touch it. It was probably about a year, maybe 2 ago that I watched all of it. Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, all of it. And I had this moment in watching Clone Wars where I was like, what the actual fuck? He's alive. I made Fish stop what he is doing. For those who don't know, Fish Fry is my husband, and he is not a Star Wars fan. I said, I know you're not going to understand a word that's about to come out of my mouth, but I need you to just nod along because I need to say this out loud. And I spiraled, okay, because he didn't die. So, spoiler, I won't give you all of the details because you get a lot more of the history when it comes to Maul in Clone Wars. Um, it's only it's maybe a season,
Mhm.
I want to say, yeah,
Yep.
where they focus in on him, and I really, really recommend watching. Even if you don't watch everything, you can just watch the season that has to do with Maul because I feel like it is very important when going into the Maul series that we're watching now with the Shadow Lord. Um, you get a lot of his history, and you find out about his brother and all of that stuff, right? It's huge. But essentially he didn't die. um I think the first time we see him, he's robotic from the waist down and more spider like in what he made, and dude is spiraled. Dude is not sane. There is not a single sane thought in his head for good reason. And you kind of see him come back in that season of Clone Wars, to where we have him now, where he is back on two legs. He is still robotic from the waist down, of course. Um,
Because
and
apparently,
this
if you
whole
become a Darth, you just have to get some mechanical aspects to you.
yeah, it's in the rules. I don't know what to tell you. Um, but this show is really focusing in on Maul wanting revenge, right? Um, he wants to get revenge on Darth Sidious. He wants to get revenge on, the Pikes and, all of these other crime lords that were supposed to be helping him and didn't. He has taken over the quote unquote throne for the Mandalorians. What is it? The Crimson. I didn't write their names down, but he's got Mandalorians working for him.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, but Mandos
Again,
don't like.
I'm in it for the timelines. Okay.
Okay.
So to give aspect, this takes place 1 year after the animated Clone Wars series and Revenge of the Sith, right? Um, so I gotta say, I was shocked in our last episode, the season finale for this, we see Darth Vader. We
Mhm.
have a fight between Maul and a Jedi and Padawan with Darth Vader. And I thought that was, oh my god, we have Vader. He doesn't talk. I don't I don't think he says a single word the entire time now that I'm thinking about it. Um, but before we get to that, in knowing the timeline of this, it kind of confused me, right? Because we have this detective, um, Captain Lawson, and the first time that he sees Maul, he calls it a laser sword. And that bothered me because if this is supposed to take place a year after the fact, why don't you know what a lightsaber is? And let's go even a bit
Yeah.
further. He even admits that he worked alongside a Jedi. Why did you call it a laser sword then? You knew daggone well that's a lightsaber if you worked
I mean,
alongside a Jedi.
maybe sarcasm. Maybe he was just trying to be sarcastic.
Um,
No, here, can I give my quick take on
yes.
this? Because after they show exactly how the Empire reacts when they find out there are force sensitive beings around, right?
Mhm.
Because it's swift. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It takes them a day or two. It's they are there. So maybe
Yeah.
that is what he was trying to avoid. You say lightsaber around the wrong person,
That's true.
and now you have what you don't want, which is the Empire with a chokehold on your planet.
Yeah. Which unfortunately, Two Boots just had no fucking self control. Which I mean, he's a droid, so there's only so much you can do there.
Mhm.
But
Giant magnet.
well, he deactivated the droid, and he still ended up calling the Empire.
Good programming.
Yeah. Uh,
Light stick.
it's
Don't
very
let Rick see
interesting
that.
to me though that we see Maul very early on in this seeking an apprentice.
Mhm.
And that in and itself I wasn't really prepared for, right? Because his whole thing is this path of vengeance, and I just didn't see having an apprentice kind of falling into that um path for him, you know? But that's where we have poor little Devin,
Mhm.
sweet little Twi'lek Devin.
Mhm.
Um And God, you just know there was so much potential for her. And in that end, where you see that moment, which of course, crazy, we see a quote unquote Sith and Jedi working side by side.
Mhm.
Okay. Seeing two blue lightsabers with a double red saber fighting on the same side. That's not, you don't see that very often. If ever. Um so that was kind of a huge moment, but there was that moment where Devin's off fighting one of the Inquisitors, and you've got Maul and her master, which was Master Daki, fighting Vader, and he's hurt. Maul's hurt. Maul was hurt before he even went into that fight. And Maul has that moment. He can either go forward and continue to help the Jedi fight Vader, or he can leave. And he knows the only way to make Devin, because the whole time he's been trying to convince Devin to tap into her rage, to essentially make her an apprentice, and she's very loyal to her master. Um, he takes that step back and leaves him so that Vader ends up killing her master. And we have that spark, that moment, same as you do with Anakin. It's that moment where the turn officially happens. When his mother dies, that's the official switch for setting Anakin on the path that he was on. And so this was Devin's moment. Her master being stabbed through the chest by Vader was her switch moment. And, it ends off with her saying she's ready. So she's officially becoming his apprentice.
So
Um,
is this just like the standard thing with Star Wars? Because I mean, think about it. Darth Vader's like, yeah, he was already on the path, but like the switch was the death of Padme. Like, that's what I considered the switch. That was the final moment. And then Luke was, the aunt and uncle. So is it just like if you're going to become a Padawan on either side, you got to lose somebody first? Is this a Batman thing?
oh yeah, no, I feel like it's honestly when you get down to the nitty gritty, right, of what it takes for one's lightsaber to go red, right, bleeding the crystal. Um, you have to have that life altering moment. Um,
You about to make
I
me
I
ask a
guess
technical question because I remember the now, whatever their legacy timeline or whatever they're calling it for the books, because I thought the crystal went red because it was basically tortured and broken.
right. And that's what the term bleeding the
Okay,
crystal
okay, okay. That's why I
is
was like,
for.
I don't
Um,
understand the term you used.
yeah. It's basically the crystal going through the trauma of the change. Um, I think I can't say that it's a thing for every Sith that we see, because, when you think about, all right, Maul, for example, he was taken by Sidious to start the training. He went very willingly into it though. Now he went through hell to get to where he was. Then let's go to God, who's some of the other ones? What's his freaking face?
For who? Which side?
Um, Dooku. All right, Count Dooku was he was a Jedi that turned to the dark side. I don't know that we ever hear what that pivotal moment for him was, if he lost somebody or whatever it was. I think it was more so he was searching for more power, which is why he fell to the dark side. So I wouldn't say
Yes.
necessarily that for everybody to go that route, you have to lose someone. I mean, again, Kylo Ren. Kylo didn't lose anybody. He went because he felt he was an angsty boy. He was an angsty little teenager. All right.
Oh,
This is
if
Doku.
you what?
This was Doku.
Dooku.
Dooku.
Count Dooku.
Dooku wanted more power.
Yep.
That was Dooku's switch. Was he wanted to prove to the Jedi Council that you can utilize both the light and the dark side of the Force together and not have to be bad. And on his journey to do so, discovered how big of a hypocrite the Jedi Council was, and said, "That's it. I'm done. I don't
Yep.
care.
Well,
I'm dark side."
but and I had to look it up on his history. So you did have that, the disillusionment. He was trying to say that the Sith had returned. Nobody was fucking believing him. But
Mhm.
he also lost his former apprentice, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Dooku
Dooku
was already dark side at that time. Like
What was he?
Qui-Gon
Was he?
talks about it.
But I would say I thought he was just on the political side of it at that point.
No.
Not
No,
full.
yeah. So he was
Yeah,
in
no.
secret essentially for a
Okay.
while.
Mm-hmm. But Qui-Gon talks about the loss of his master to the dark side.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know he was full on. I thought that was still during his temptation period, if you will.
Oh no, yeah. He was gone. I mean, that's why you have that scene where they're fighting. Um Before he inevitably demises. But um
I mean, and then if you'll indulge me for a second, because any chance I get to talk about this guy, I love talking about this
I knew
guy.
this was coming.
You have Revan, all right?
mhm.
The sole reason Revan turned to the dark side, and I believe he is one of a very few number, if not the only one that ever did this. It was political. Again, the Jedi Council claims that, and they're, for all intents and purposes, they are what represents good within the Star Wars universe. All right, but they're very corrupt, and they're very good at hiding the corruption. And Revan's sole reason for switching to the dark side was because he no longer agreed with the core values that the council was trying to have everybody uphold, right? And essentially, that's his only reason ever for switching sides. Because remember, Revan is like the only one that'll go, like, I'm here. Just kidding. I'm back over here. Just kidding. I'm back over here. Just kidding. I'm here now. All right. And it's always ever political. Always. Always. It's always, I do not agree with the structure that is set up on one side or the other. I do not agree with the belief system on one side or the other. The switch to the dark side, it is made more intense when there is strong emotion with it. But it doesn't have to be based around, you know, my girlfriend died, my mother died, my Padawan died. It doesn't have to be traumatic, because like you were getting to, and I'll let you get back to, Kylo Ren was just angsty.
Right, yeah. He felt like he was that misunderstood kid, and in his little emo phase, went to the dark side. Because they're just so impressionable at that age. But you also have to think about it, is he idolized Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look at like the age of Anakin making his transition, it's probably along the same age that Kylo is when he makes that full transition. Um, uh, I looked it up though for you, Lord. So they the whole bleeding the crystal, right? They force the crystal uh with pain, rage, and hatred to break its spirit until it aligns with the dark side and turns red because the crystal is alive.
Yeah.
So that's why you know, it's semi-sentient is how they word it. Um, and I think in this, uh, for the purpose of this show, I don't think we're gonna see. I don't know that we ever have and or will see the process of bleeding a crystal because in this, Devin lost her saber when she was fighting. She took one of Maul's, so it's probably gonna be one of those scenarios where she just suddenly has another lightsaber and it happens to be red. Um, but overall, I wasn't upset with the season or with the show in itself. I thought it was decent enough. And it, again, Disney finding avenues that they can explore for more content, right? And so diving down this rabbit hole with Maul, even though ultimately it's going to have to lead to death, because you can only cross it back to the main movie so many times. Um, I don't know. I thought it was good. I was impressed.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was I was surprised it took this long to do it. I love that they got Sam Witwer to voice Maul again.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he is the only one that should be voicing Maul. Period. He does such a good job with it, and his knowledge of the Star Wars universe is impressive. He is a top expert.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I did like the moment of confusion that we saw with Maul and Master Daki when they were face to face with Vader. They both could tell he wasn't normal.
mhm.
They knew he wasn't just a straight up Sith, and that he knew Jedi ways as well. And so that kind of confusion where Maul's like, just no, I don't think this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do, and ultimately that wasn't a fight they were going to win. Period. There was no them winning. So it'll be interesting to see where they continue this story. Um, we do know ultimately Mole has a plan for enacting revenge on Sidious. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see with the storyline that we have for the movies how they integrate this show in achieving that, or if they even come close to achieving it. You know, and now we're in a world where we've got technically more than one Sith apprentice because at this stage, in theory, Vader is still considered an apprentice. Um, so
Yeah, technically,
following timelines because we know I like my timelines.
we know you like your timelines.
um, because there's always that. I hate it, but the main phrase of you only ever have two Sith. You have the Sith Lord and you have the apprentice, and that's it. Um, and it kind of feels like that uh stigma they're starting to throw away.
Mhm.
We're seeing a lot more. I mean, I almost wonder, and I might be reaching here, but what would you consider an inquisitor? They're a red saber user, but they're not an apprentice. they're not a Sith Lord, but they're Sith in essence.
Well,
Sith
they're
under the mask of, the Empire.
I feel like an Inquisitor. Well, I mean, Inquisitor is the Sith's version of a Jedi Knight. But they never fully. I don't know if I've ever heard them referred to as Sith.
What else would you call them?
I mean, I know, like, looking at it, trying to give them a name, sure, that is what you would definitely label them as, but I wonder if they're just left without an official title. Just because we're still stuck in that stigma.
It's one of those things. They are clearly Force users,
Mhm.
and they have the abilities with a lightsaber, right? So that in itself is, well, I was going to say that in itself means that they
Mhm.
have capabilities, but then you go to what we have now, and what's his nuts picks up a lightsaber at some point in the new movies. I can't even remember his name because I fucking hate him. But
What, Poe?
no, Poe doesn't pick up the lightsaber. It's
Or
the
was it
other
Finn?
dude.
Finn.
Finn, yes.
Finn,
Finn
yeah.
picks up a lightsaber, and you're just like, well, now you're saying that anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Hulk hammer, or not Hulk hammer. A fucking I'm looking at his name on the fucking thing. It's a Thor's hammer moment, right? You can't just make it to where anybody can fucking pick it up.
Yeah. Well, and just to like pop back to something real quick, we've had before, where there were multiple Sith that existed at the same time. I mean, we've had Bane be around at the same time Revan and Malak were there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unheard of, but like it's a large part of the reason why the Ruler 2 was created in the first place.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, in this situation, what we have Maul.
mm-hmm.
Will now have Devin. You have Vader and Sidious.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know what the outcome is going to be for either of the four. We know Maul wants Sidious dead, and in turn will probably go after Vader as well. We also know just how powerful Vader is. But the caveat to that is that Vader is only as powerful as the balance is within the Force.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if the Force looks at Maul and says you are on a truly righteous and balanced path, the Force could just go and be like, "We favor you," and that would be the downfall of Vader.
And I've got an interesting take here.
Mm-hmm.
What if in seeing is Maul evil? Yes. Okay, 100%. I wouldn't deviate from that. But do I see him trying to take other paths? And do we see something where maybe instead of Devin becoming a Sith, we find ourselves with another Gray? Because she's trained in the Jedi ways. I mean, we even hear she and her master escaped from Order 66 happening. So she's trained in those ways. Now she's going to be trained in Sith ways. Are we seeing the birth of another Ahsoka, essentially?
Very well cut.
Well, I mean, Ahsoka wasn't trained Sith, but you get what I mean.
No, I understand what you're getting at, and very very well could. There aren't many gray Jedi that exist within the Order. The thing that we need to pay attention to, though, is she's agreed that she is given into her hate and her anger, and so she is embracing the dark side, so to speak. And anyone that's been a gray Jedi, it's not been a matter of light versus dark. It's been a matter of what's right, and understanding that sometimes to do the right thing, you have to do what is socially considered the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That is a gray knight where we're truly looking at. So Revan becomes gray because of the fact that we haven't seen a switch with him in the lore in forever. I mean, they stopped writing about him, but the last that they wrote about him, he had decided he was going to stay in between. That he was neither Sith nor Jedi, but he was going to uphold his Jedi ideals and beliefs, and he was going to enforce his Jedi ideals and beliefs through the ferocity that he learned through the dark side. So that's great right there, right? In my personal opinion, like you want to talk about the epitome of a balanced Force user, it's the Grey Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's just, and that's my personal opinion. I think we're going to see Devin fall to and adhere to the dark side. I think that inevitably what we're going to see is a switch in power on the dark side, and they need that to continue bringing people into the Star Wars world. You can take Vader so far, but now we have
Well,
Maul.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, so this is what I was gonna say though. One thing that I will say I'm not liking, right? So when they started this journey with Mandalorian, I was excited in them taking a different storyline and progressing, right?
Mhm.
With us backtracking into Maul, it's almost like they look at our movies, the core 6, and they're like, let's put a filler in between here. And that's one thing that they love to do with these, and it's kind of a, like what I call Rogue One, telling a story that didn't need to be told. It's like, you know what, we want to put something here, so let's do this, when there are so many options of what they can be doing. Mandalorian's perfect, you're branching off. Did they loop in Luke? Yes, but they didn't maintain that, because that story's done, right? There is no more continuing on after where, movie whatever number they're at ended. Okay. um Listen, don't make fun of me and my timelines, guys. Okay, they're important. um
She has a whiteboard.
you know I have a notebook, not a whiteboard, I have a notebook. um but they have these options, but there's only with the paths they're choosing, there's only so much they can do, right? So let's using Maul and their little plug-in of Vader. Okay, you can't have too many fights between Maul and Vader unless Vader's killing Maul.
Mhm.
Maul can't kill Vader. Vader's death is already set in stone. That's already written. And if we go down into it, Maul's not killing Sidious. His death is already written. So it's kind of like, what is your outcome? Am I loving having stories with Maul? Absolutely. Didn't know I needed it, but I'm here for it. Um, but there's only so far you can do if you're trying to tie it back to the movie timeline.
But clones are a
You
thing.
know
Clones are a thing, and so are
what?
clones are a thing, and so is transferring consciousness in the Star Wars universe. So technically, you could.
No, no. Like I see where you're going with it, but like you
I'm
doom
glaring
yourself.
at my computer screen right now. I hope you know that.
You doom yourself if you mess with the original, the foundation of what is Star Wars. Okay. Maybe if they waited another decade, and then we wouldn't really have a whole lot of people left that remembered the original series, right? Then maybe you could, to a small degree, get away with making some small changes, but that's too big of a thing to change.
No, they couldn't do it because Rader
It's
would show up with her like walking chair thing and be screaming at the sign of Hollywood.
um it's like what we were discussing the last time. In the only way that this happens is if they decide to do some sort of alternate universe and change everything. alternate timeline everything to where, you know, everything, the course of events didn't happen the way that we know it to be in the core 6.
Hmm.
And I don't think we see Disney ever doing that.
No, it's too
You
big of a
know,
change.
it would be interesting to see, absolutely, but I don't think that's something that we ever see. Now, will we see maybe a future that follows a similar story structure? Potentially, right? Maybe they want things to happen a certain way, so let's rewrite the story in a future characters.
Hmm.
Potentially, right? We might have another person where they are a chosen one and they have the choice between their path, you know, and we see a different um outcome. There's a potential for that. But you're still going to have people who aren't going to like it.
Yep. Yeah. Or you're never going to be able to please everyone all at once. That's an impossible feat. Um, I like the direction that it's going, though. We'll just have to see what they do with it.
And a lot of what I'm taking
Yeah.
for this is I need to go back and watch Clone Wars before I watch the new Maul.
The season, the animated series, yes,
Yeah.
you need to watch that. If you don't necessarily need to watch the entire thing, but you need to watch the season that focuses in on Maul, because Maul has some flashbacks that deals with his past that are pointed out from that part of that season.
Okay. Then I am glad I did not just jump in and start watching this, because I'd probably be sitting here right now going like, Rader, I'm so confused. I need to look up. Let's see here. That was Clone Wars. Let's see. Because we need to let people know. And I need to know. Okay, wow. So technically it's 4, 5, and 7 he's in.
Yes.
So season 3 is his brother. Season 4 towards the end is him, and then 5 it looks like is heavy. 5 and 7 have heavy appearances by him.
Listen, all of Clone Wars is great. It is absolutely amazing. They did a good job on it. If you like lore, Clone Wars has an overabundance of lore drop. And if you're a fan of Ahsoka, she's all over that thing.
No, then absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So-
I guess Clone Wars also makes sense too on why it ran so long, because it was. I guess it gave them the chance to retell some of the lore that they had canceled out from what Legacy or Legends or whatever they're calling that their time, like the now non-canon stuff. So it's kind of like, hey, we're getting into those sections that there were a lot of freaking books on, but those books are no longer canon. So here, we're gonna feed you the new canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and
next for Star Wars. What
I don't know if they've really dropped anything.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm holding. Don't drag you into my bratty trouble. You do that fine on your own. No, if I'm in trouble, you're in trouble.
Okay, so Star Wars Starfighter, May 28, 2027. Standalone, set several years before the sequel trilogy, and features an entirely new cast of characters. Lovely. So we're gonna have another. Yes, Ryan Gosling.
Exactly. You got to throw it out there.
But see, here's my problem when they do this. When you, it's Rogue One all over again. Every character has to die. When you decide to do these standalones, that. Oh wait, no, this one's years after. Okay, so maybe not. Never mind. They don't have to die. I read that wrong. My brain read that wrong.
Step off the soapbox.
Yeah,
Step off.
But then you have the
I see.
untitled one for December 17th, 2027.
I'm not. I don't want to talk about that one because she's another one that I don't like. But we have an untitled Rey movie coming that takes place 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. So, oh yay, we're doing another big time jump. So then we can later on decide to throw shit in between it and end up having to kill people off because why would we just follow something sequentially? My bad, it's Star Wars. Anyways, um
The answer to that
and
question.
she's rebuilding the Jedi Order.
And this, it sounds like it's possibly going to be. I mean, they're calling it the new Jedi Order thing, but I feel like this could also be New Jedi Academy. They might be
Oh yeah,
kind of
essentially.
redoing that lore.
Um we have Dawn of the Jedi, that's going to explore the ancient origins and the very first Jedi to wield the Force. So this one I think will be interesting. This is a storyline that I'm not mad about, right? Usually I'm not big on let's go back in time, um, and change history. This is a backstory that I wouldn't mind hearing about because again, I'm coming from the side that hasn't looked into any of the books yet because the books are a vast, vast world, right? Um, and going into the dawn, of the Jedi, I think is going to be really, really interesting to see how they decide to do that. We have a Disney series that was, or it was supposed to be a Disney series. Now they are shifting it to a movie, which is going to be the Lando movie. We have a trilogy, a new trilogy
Hmm.
that's in the early stages of development. We don't have any information on that one.
A lot of conflicting
Uh,
stuff.
n- mhm. A Rogue Squadron feature film through recently rumored to be pivoting for television development, and then several other unnamed projects. So, what I'm not happy about in seeing this list here is I want to say it was a couple years ago, we had this big thing of core movies that they were going to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We were going to get a Yoda movie. We were going to get Yoda's backstory. Okay, that's one wouldn't be mad about. And I'm not seeing anything on that. Who were some of the other ones that we were going to get? Kenobi they did as a series.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember because I
I
remember the
distinctly
picture.
remember it was like 3 posters
Yeah.
of the 3 different movies they were going to do, and they were different colored. I remember because Yoda's was green. I want to say the one for Kenobi was blue, and there was another one. Um, and I don't remember who it was supposed to be.
Let's see. I'm
But it's
trying to
like
see
I
if I can
can.
find the picture again because they did like they did like the timeline, like the thing that Marvel does with the like, here's when we're expecting to release and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It,
I want to say I remember seeing it like at a movie theater. I might have been when I was going to see the Solo movie, and I remember distinctly seeing the posters for the those 3 coming, or those 3 being in the works.
yeah, because there was even like,
Um,
what was it? They had the droid story. And I don't know if the Asaka really took the place of the Asaka and Rangers of the New Republic thing that they were working on,
mm.
and then whatever
Oh,
Taika and
speaking of
Taika Waititi was working on.
speaking of droids, I was so upset when they killed the poor little spy bot because he was probably my favorite in the Maul series. His little like, oh, Master Maul, ew, stinky Jedi, and then I want to kill you. It was just like, what? This little droid. Um, but no, I hate Ray so much, so
There it
I'm
is.
I'm annoyed we're getting another movie with her. You found it?
I found because this was, they weren't just announcing that one too. So it was like the Disney Investor Day. Hold on. I found.
Ooh, was it Boba Fett?
I thought they were done with that.
No, but I'm trying to think.
No,
Was that
there
one of the
was.
movies?
Well, they were talking about another season for Boba Fett. There was that one that I found, put in chat, that had like Lando, and this was like before they did Rogue Squadron,
Hmm.
um, and Willow. So some of these have definitely come true, but some of them, I mean, Visions is technically running, and that's where we're gonna get the Ninth Jedi animated thing, because that was from like what 20? That was Disney Investor Day 2020.
That sounds right, Phoenix. Phoenix, the post I found said Kenobi, Boba Fett, and Yoda. So I think that might have been what that three poster was that I was thinking of.
Mhm.
Um, Kenobi, again, they ended up doing a TV series. Um,
I mean, they did with Boba too, so the Book of Boba Fett.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. I didn't like that.
I don't think I've watched that, honestly.
It's okay, you don't have to.
About Boba. No, no.
But yeah, no, I think a lot of us were kind of interested in what they were going to do with Yoda because I mean, there's a whole other aspect. I mean, there was a female of Yoda's species. I can't
Oh,
remember her name off the top of my head, but when it comes to the books, I do remember that much because I've seen the fan art for the books.
so that was 2017. So in 2017, before, um, it was the older and still a little bit more under Lucasfilm, before the shift to streaming, they had the plans for basically what they call the Star Wars story anthologies, which were going to be a series of movies like Yoda's origin, Boba Fett,
Mhm.
and those. But what happened is after Solo came out and it underperformed in 2018, they canceled those projects of doing those movies
Oh.
and instead moved on to the Mandalorian and those because they didn't want to risk it. And I mean, I can kind of it makes sense because Solo could have been a story about Han Solo's early days could have been freaking amazing, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of lackluster.
I, yeah, I can see it. Um Solo wasn't my favorite, but I didn't think it was that bad either. I think it's one of those when you talk about characters that are very, human characters, right? Doing a backstory, you have to find people that match the kind of uh physical features of the original character, right? You want to match it up as much as you can. And that's
Yeah.
one of the struggles that they have with this going back to the past part. But like with Yoda, that's not a humanoid creature that you have to worry about, right? He's a created character.
Well, and the
Um,
amount of time that we've discovered that his people live, it's like,
right.
yeah, this man said, Yoda had centuries to change himself and so forth. So who he was versus who he became, you got a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah. So I bummed to hear that they're not doing that. Um,
But I feel like
it
maybe,
makes me wonder, why are we doing a Lando movie slash series?
yeah, I think that's just because of Lando's popularity. He's always been a popular
Here's
character.
here's one of those things, right? So it's gotta be pre Luke and Leia timeline,
Yeah,
right? So it's got to be before their birth because you can't have. Well, I mean, I guess you could have small child, but you can't have anything close to adulthood for Leia.
you'd have to go pre-Solo because we already saw where he was in Solo.
Yeah,
So it had to be his evolution to get to where he was there.
yeah.
I say
I
they,
don't know. I don't know how much more backstory you can do with them.
and that's
That one I feel like is a reach for sure.
one I think, and I think one of the other issues, and one of the reasons why Solo had the issues it did was you take a character like Han Solo that has a following, is beloved, played by a great actor, and you're tossing someone new into it, and and that person is basically trying to emulate somebody else's version. And some people can do that great, but not the same. It's always gonna feel different.
I mean, Harry Potter. That's exactly what we're about to be facing. Uh, so
But see, here's the difference on that. Is this Harry Potter we're watching is its own standalone thing. It's not a continuation of the movies and so forth. So each character gets to
it's a
kind of
rewrite.
it gets to redevelop itself. Whereas with everything Star Wars, it's a no. This is the same thing that you're. This is the same person you're seeing young. Is who you're going to be seeing in episode like three, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
and then again in 7.
Why's it got to be Ray? That of course. Sorry, I'm still hung up on that. I'm excited for Dawn of the Jedi, though. I will say that. That I'm gonna hold out hope for. Um, being as low down on the announced film development list that it is, I'd say we're probably not seeing it for 3 to 4 years. Um,
But
Well, they can do just about whatever they want with Dawn of the Jedi because the Prime Jedi was never named
yeah,
outside of being called the Prime Jedi. Even in the books, to my knowledge, we've never had the Prime Jedi named. However, the problem people are going to have is the first Jedi was of pure balance, right? Mastery over the light and the dark side, which is lost to the current Jedi. Like that was supposed to be the goal for the Jedi to master the Force on both sides and utilize it for good. And somewhere along the way, the core value system, the goal was lost.
okay, so even like basically the whole identity there. I mean, the Jedi Order was founded what 25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Mhm.
So they're saying like over the tens of thousands of years, wars, rise and falls of republics, and the purging of libraries erased the Prime Jedi's birth name from all known galactic records.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means we
one
can see that
thing,
universe 25,000 years beforehand.
yeah. One thing I'm excited for is doing Dawn of the Jedi. I feel like is going to open the door to maybe some more of the things that we as Star Wars fans want to see, i.e., Mity and Revan, right?
I just want my boy.
But if we're going back this far, they're referencing books for this, right?
They're gonna
They're
have
Mhm.
they're
to.
definitely going to take creative liberties with it, but they're definitely going to reach back into those books, and this is going to open the door for some of these quote unquote past characters that we've never seen within the movies.
And maybe you'll understand the significance of Ahsoka better.
Mm?
Don't hold your breath.
Well, and the other thing too is like I
um
had to look up the what was it, the Lost 20, the 20 Jedi Masters that walked away from the Council, and we've only actually got the name of 3 or 4 of them that have been mentioned. So they've got all that they can work with too, on the different phases of where corruptions or ideologies and so forth were coming into the Jedi Council that caused these people to leave.
mhm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the direction things go. It has been a great few hours that we've been sitting here chatting with you guys. I would like to raise a question to you, the chat. Don't answer it here on the live. Answer it in the comment section below when the live is over. But how would you guys like to be the judge on a live versus match? Throw down a yes or no. Let us know some ideas you would have for versus matches, and if you are in the Discord, we will throw it up in the Discord for all of you guys to vote on if we get enough yeses. And on the next video, along with some breakdowns, We will also do a live versus for you all, and you guys can be the ones who choose who the winners are. With that, though, I'm going to hand this over to Rader and to Lord, and they are going to close us out.
Well, we appreciate you guys all showing up. Please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, turn on that lovely little notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we go live or post videos. Mity did mention the Discord. Definitely check out the Discord. We have a link in the bio that'll link you to everybody's socials. But we have some fun events that we do within the Discord, and you can always find updates there as well for anything Why Superman Sucks related. Um, and yeah, make sure to comment and let us know if you want to do a live judging on a versus. And you guys are gonna pick me, right? So, um,
You don't get to like
that's
bribe them in advance now. Now that's not fair.
No, she needs all the help she can get.
wow. Oh, all right, guys. All right.
And definitely, like Rader said, make sure you hit the subscribe button when we get to 100 people. You know, Mity, I've already promised to throw down on Superman since that is the name of the podcast. You want to watch me wipe the floor with him?
Ah! Sorry, you were serious.
I will say I had to give a breath there because I knew that was coming.
That might be reaching.
I'm gonna do my damnedest. But also share the podcast with people, and also make sure to keep up with us on whysupermansucks.com. It's in development, but you can check out the latest episode there as well, and we'll be adding links and some other things as time goes on.
All right, everybody, we will catch you in the next one.